There's something grainy about the texture of a red vine that I just can't truck with.
It's like red chalk, sugary red chalk.
It's better than just eating hard plastic, which is what a Twizzler is.
Hey, if I'm going to have candy, I get a little bit of substance.
Twizzlers are shiny and slick and smooth.
The way that eating a Ziploc bag is.
They're both bad.
Untrue.
I don't.
All
You can really sink your teeth into a red vine. It's like,
and then
especially
have
a fresh one.
And then pick the grit out of your teeth after.
Hey, that means you just get to save a little bit for later.
No. I get space in my teeth for a reason.
There's no kind of licorice or licorice-like product that is good.
I don't think Twizzlers are licorice.
But it's like a red.
I think
they're a licorice-like
transcend.
It's a licorice light, not a licorice light.
It tastes so much better.
I had a friend.
Licorice flavor is way worse. But yes,
I had a friend come back from Europe. I forget what country exactly, but the very popular snack was the salty licorice.
Yes.
And I don't like normal licorice, but I'll tell you what, I can fuck with a salty licorice.
What happens when the salt is gone, though? Because eventually the salt runs out, and then you're just left with licorice.
Yeah, but the good thing is they were very tiny. They were little tiny bite size.
We might still have some of that shit around here in a box somewhere.
Okay.
And the
they
salt
get better with age.
And the salt preserves it for decades. It turns out.
Ugh.
So what's your go-to movie treat? Candy.
Oh man,
You're gonna
I don't
get a movie
know.
candy. What
I
are
don't
you gonna
know. Probably something chocolatey.
No.
Okay.
Although that does get melty and
Yeah, it
gross
can
in
get
the dark.
melty. Yeah, if you
Melty-
lose it in between your seats or something like that, then
Yeah.
it's going to get all melty.
Gross
and then,
chocolate in the
you're gonna
dark.
start reaching around and get chocolate hands and
I'll just get a popcorn.
yeah, popcorn's good.
I like a hot dog.
I was
in a
yes.
movie.
I
Yeah.
said fuck
No.
candy. I have moved on to hot dogs.
Oh, I haven't gotten a hot dog in a movie since I was a child.
People
but
don't
I think
get-
I'm missing out.
Don't get stinky food in a theater. Like
Hot
those
dogs
fucking
aren't- what are you trying to say about hot dogs?
I don't want to smell people's food when I'm in
You
a
don't want to go to
theater.
the draft house and have somebody order deviled eggs
No.
next to you?
Do they
Hell
have
no.
deviled eggs?
They do.
Do they really?
It's wrong.
I'm totally getting deviled eggs next time I go.
It's
to
just
the
one
movies.
more reason to not ever go to the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the song says, let's all go there
Yeah,
and have ourselves a snack.
But what if instead you stayed home and ordered a pizza
Yeah.
or made 1,000 hot dogs and just sat there and ate them while whatever movie was on?
You can eat the stinkiest food you want in your own house.
It's true.
That's
No one can
true.
stop you unless
there-
someone lives there.
Unless
that you,
it's so stinky that it just gets out to the other house.
Sit there and eat some cod,
yeah,
some durian.
it's getting
Ooh,
nuts.
I'm going to put on the new Avengers movie and just go ham on some cod.
Yeah.
Cod.
Just mountains of fish. Microwaved fish.
Ugh.
Whatever you want.
All right, maybe there is a line.
In
on
your,
that
own,
stuff.
in your own domicile.
I was seeing something that seemed like there was a renewed push for this idea of more expensive movie streams for first run movies.
Yeah.
Like, hey, pay us $35 and stream this movie.
Oh,
in
is it
your
down to
house.
35?
Yeah.
last
which
time I
before
heard
it was like
50.
200 or
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
Yeah, that seemed like maybe they were getting a little closer to testing something like that.
35 is getting there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you invite a
That's
couple friends
still-
over and
yeah,
stuff.
Like
and
two
have
tickets
them
to a
chip in.
movie
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
Plus, you can make
So-
your own popcorn, which will reduce the price tremendously.
Yeah. Or just not eat
Just not.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what do you have in the fridge right now?
I got half a sixer of Cooler Light
Okay.
and some milk that might be good.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the beer in the milk, and it'll definitely be good.
Yeah, that all that again,
Preserves
it's a preservative.
You can do whatever you want when you watch a
That's
movie
true.
at your own house.
That's right. Watch it naked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
with
drink
all your
some-
friends.
Drink some beer milk.
Yeah.
It's the 18th of July. It's
Shit.
Tuesday.
All right.
That means it is the Giant Bombcast. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's going on?
You know.
We watched Evo.
I watched Evo.
I want to hear
watched
about
the
Evo.
shit out
did
of
you guys?
Evo.
Did you guys just have Evo on all weekend?
I did, yeah,
Pretty much.
actually, yeah. The multi Twitch, so I
Yeah.
had 9 different windows running, and then I took out one of them and put in the anime Evo stuff as
yeah.
well, because I wanted to see Gundam Versus and shit
what?
like that.
Oh, it's just a
They had
Kinda
a
the games
mini
that didn't
Evo.
quite-
Relegated to a separate.
side action.
Yeah.
Yeah, some side
Okay.
action.
I
know what they're
accidentally caught the end of one of the Smash Brothers games.
Which one? Melee?
Yeah, probably.
Wait, are they still running major streams for different Smashes?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I figured it would have all consolidated at this point.
No, the Melee stream is still going strong. People were, there's a whole thing because last year Melee was on the Sunday spot. This year Smash 4 was on the Sunday spot.
Is that like the most desirable?
Yeah,
Is that
because
that's the marquee?
basically, and so that's basically how Evo works for the last couple of years. It's been this way. You run your tournament. So there's 9 games, and then over the course of Friday and Saturday, you play the pools matches, you play the top 32 matches, and you finish the games that aren't going to be on the main stage. And then Sunday they go to the what's the name of the
Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
They do the top 8s for 5 games at Mandalay Bay.
Is that the stuff happening in the arena? Because I saw photos going around, and I was like, man, that looks, for the first time, that looks like the International. That looks like
it's where they have like a bunch of
arena
MMA,
with,
like all their
They
Vegas
did that
MMA
last year
stuff.
as well.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
This giant like screen in the round.
Yeah,
kind
the
of thing.
stage is like the Evo symbol,
Yeah.
and they're like
Yeah.
it lights up for like their characters and it has their faces
Yeah.
on the stage.
And like some of that stuff was on ESPN or like Disney
Melee.
XD.
Yeah,
or
if you
something.
wanted to watch some hot Smash action,
Smash
you could
4
tune
and
into
Street
Disney
Fighter
Channel.
on Disney XD, and
Again, just like this whole Nintendo is for kids mentality. We need to let go of
doesn't
it.
help.
What the fuck?
It really does not help the whole argument.
No, in fact, I think it
That's
kind of
pretty funny.
settles it in some sense. It's just like,
But Street Fighter was there too, which is
Did Street Fighter go on to Disney?
Yeah.
They
Okay,
just
'cause
forgot
I know it was
to
on ESPN too.
hit stop on the streaming,
yeah.
I guess.
They're just like they'll let anything on Disney XD these days. So whatever.
So what did you think of Smash?
I don't know. I saw a kid that was very excited.
Yeah, that
and
sounds right.
Star Fox was in it. I don't know. That's all I remember.
Yeah, that sounds like Smash.
And I watched a little bit of it and was like, man, this looks fucking terrible. Like all the scooting around and all this, like, yeah, man, like this looks like an unfun thing to do.
Is the core of competitive Smash still that like one flat stage, like one-on-one, just very distilled?
That's a Smash. Actually, Smash 4 is more like that than Melee. There's I think like 2 legal stages in Smash 4 right now or something like that. I don't follow it as closely as I do Melee, but Melee's got 5 legal stages, and they're all like variations of 1 or 2 or 3 platforms. It's not like and there's no stages with stage hazards and like things popping up and stuff like that.
How do they pick the stage? Is it random?
There's a whole thing. There's a whole counter picking.
Like different characters stronger on different maps.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Because like the thing, with Smash,
Play Duck Duck Goose.
you play, you go heads down, 7-up, cover your eyes to make sure you're not cheating.
Yep.
Different stage heights and widths and stuff benefit different characters.
Yeah.
I have to say, as like someone who was most excited about Melee, that top 8 literally was exactly what everyone thought it was going to be. The top 4 players in the world finished 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay.
But
Scene getting a little stagnant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still really exciting to watch. But
It's a game that's been replaced by a sequel.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the idea that it's even still on the main stage.
Game is only, what, 15 years
was
old?
the
Yeah,
game that
4
was
was-
voted in?
4 was getting a little
No.
stagnant as well, with Zero winning like every
Yeah.
fucking
he
tournament.
won like 72 tournaments in a row or something.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And I don't follow it that often, but I know enough to know that like that's the guy. And he made it to grand finals.
Does competitive Smash
But he
pay?
didn't win.
Yeah.
Like, is that guy making his living off of those tournaments? Is there-
I'd say the top 2 people are making their living off of it, and then like the 3rd and 4th and maybe 5th place guys are like making their living off a combo of that and streaming.
Okay.
So yeah, it pays for the best of the best. And there's a lot of sponsorships. It's still somehow a growing scene. Even though you have to play it, you need a CRT TV or to emulate Smash
Jeez.
on your PC.
I liked that one of the guys in the Street Fighter top 8 was not sponsored.
Yeah.
I was rooting for that guy. He just like came out in a fucking t-shirt and a backpack. I'm like, that guy. That's who I want to win. Fuck all these guys that look like professional poker players. I want this
Holy
fucking dude
shit.
to go.
What are the rest of them wearing? Like full on
Like
racing?
fucking, they're
jerseys?
wearing esports shirts.
Yeah.
They're wearing the fucking
Okay.
like tight fucking shirts covered in sponsor logos.
Yeah.
Like the same. It's like a sleeker version of the professional poker player fucking.
And it sucks because
button-up
all their
shirt
names
covered
on
in
the
covered in
streams are like
logos.
PX G Sync or whatever. They they have to put their
Slash
team
game, yeah.
first.
Twizzlers.
Echo Fox is alright because it's just Fox / which is a good
least
Fox
it
is a
looks
good
cool, yeah.
esports
Yeah.
team name.
They did really well this year.
Yeah, they got 6 top 8s, 4 grand finals, and 2 trophies
Damn, that's a lot.
for an organization that's been around for 7 months.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's I get the why esports teams exist and stuff like that for team games, and I get that there's a reason for players to receive the backing of a team and stuff like that, and there's value in that.
Yeah,
but it's
totally.
really hard in a game that is like a one-on-one thing where you're just kind of coming down to a single player. It's hard for me to give a shit about what team they're on and what country they're from. Like there was definitely a lot of like, oh, there are only 3 players from the U.S. in the top 8, and I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm interested in these individual players and where they're going and what they're doing.
And even seeing them in those shirts, I'm still invested in those players. And I think maybe it's because, I've known them before they were sponsored or whatever.
Yeah, like, it's cool that they're able to make money doing it. Like,
absolutely, they need to. Yeah,
yeah, they absolutely need to. But
get on them for being sponsored.
Just the shirts are so dumb.
They're really. There's a couple that Team Liquid, I will say, has a really cool anime looking jersey that's kind of like an anime mech pilot vibe on it. It's white with like blue trim.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're for the most 9 times out of 10 are very bad.
They're kind of silly. Yeah.
Sporting their hotline of e-peril.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was your favorite top 8, Jason?
I don't know, man. Like Street Fighter, actually, I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it, and I actually considered, ducking out, and I did for a while. Just went outside and played with my son. That was awesome. But I came back in, and Punk was still doing well, and it's like, fuck, okay, all right, let me watch this.
This is talking 5.
What's that?
Yes.
All 5, 4, kind of a
probably in a hotel lobby somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hotel lobby full of people going like, no, this is the game. Fuck those guys. Yeah.
Which honestly, before this Evo, I would have been one of those people. But Street Fighter 5 was really entertaining this year.
Yeah, even watching some of the pool stuff and just the drama associated with that, it got me into it. And it speaks to the game that the game is good enough to still have drama or dramatic moments in it, and it's got still the watchable. Yeah, it still has
9 different characters in top 8.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest surprises to me because in previous years, you're going to get 3 or 4 of the same character.
It was Nash and Mika like last year. I remember those. It was like 6 Nash and Mika players, or even 7 maybe.
And even though the community is rightly, I think upset about the game and the way that Capcom's managing 5, it still elicits like a dramatic response, and it's good enough to where it can cause really cool moments. And this is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is still Street Fighter. It is still the current Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like it, it's still fucking Street Fighter. You kind of don't have a choice, right?
I assume that's how that's still how they close Evo, right? Like that's still how they
close Evo. Yeah. And like I said, like I wasn't gonna watch,
right?
But it still drew me in, and it's not just because like that's what we got. I'm just saying it's still good enough to be good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not completely writing it off. Like,
I think that like a lot. I mean, I feel that way about a lot of games that I would never consider playing.
Sure.
So like watching when I do choose to watch fighting game tournaments, which is admittedly not very often. Like like I'll watch a lot of that stuff and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like the quality of the game matters less. Well, it matters obviously up to a point where you see like a lot of a variety in players and all that sort of stuff. But the competition, the human element, like that's the part that actually
that is totally the big draw.
Are they starting to lean into that? Like, cause like Dota, like Valve for a while, they do these like elaborate pieces, or it's like, this guy is from like former communist country.
His dad has cancer.
His dad has cancer, and he has cancer. It's like
they wrote down an interesting fact about themselves.
Yeah. This year they wrote down an interesting fact about themselves for the commentators to read during their match, which is admittedly a step up. But I think, but they're also like showing Punk's mom in the audience and stuff like that. Like in last year with L.I. Joe,
his dad. Yeah.
They're starting to understand that the human element is like part of this now that they need to embrace and
so much more than like other like team style games. When it's a one-on-one environment, you can get really invested.
Yeah,
it's a little Mama Moo goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. Also liked King of Fighters an awful lot.
I just started watching it. I missed it live.
Okay, I won't spoil anything.
I know who won, but
okay, all right, that was a fantastic run back there. Really good. And then what else? I watched Injustice.
Tekken was pretty good.
Tekken was really good.
I feel like I saw more people talking about Tekken than anything else, but maybe that was just the Geese Howard stuff.
Yeah, there's that, but also I think there's a lot of stuff that like people who hadn't seen Tekken before getting their first look at all that slow-mo shit and just being blown away.
Yeah, that stuff presents so well. Like it's super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of low tiers too. Like there was one point with Jack 7 versus who's the anime lady? The cat lady.
Lucky Chloe.
It was like a Lucky Chloe versus Jack 7 in losers finals or something, and they're like, these are 2 of the worst characters in the game. And these guys are just going to town on it.
I don't think Jack is one of the worst characters. I think Jack's one of the best in this one. I hear it a lot anyway. But regardless,
making that sound,
a lot of diversity, just a lot of hype stuff.
What does high level Tekken look like?
A lot of wiggling, a lot of like
a lot of
going back and forth and up and down,
just
like waiting for you to fuck up even the tiniest step and then go in.
Okay. And then get a juggling 10-hit combo and do a third of their health.
Lot of it's like about half the time the round starts and somebody gets a 50% combo. And carries them into the corner. And now it's like you can fuck up one more time and you're done. But then sometimes they work their way out of the corner and have a comeback. It was really entertaining.
Those are 3 out of 5, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They play 2 3 out of 5s. So yeah, sometimes the round goes by quick, but they're 3 out of 5. So awesome. I watched Marvel for the first time since last Evo, and that was really entertaining because it was interesting jumping in and seeing
the last one.
Yeah,
right?
so it's
Evo,
the last
anyway.
MVC3 tournament. And apparently the meta has progressed to this whole new place that I didn't even know about, where Dark Phoenix is back. She's a threat now. Yeah, Ryan LV,
she's always a threat,
who's the guy who ended up winning, is a Phoenix player. And there were like 2 other Phoenix players. And I was just talking about how, he's obviously, these guys are influenced by Ryan LV's Phoenix play. And I'm like, I've never even heard of Ryan from LV, but he ended up beating Chris G in grand finals. It was cool because like there were weird characters. There's Marvel for the last like 3 years, grand finals have always been just like completely different from the last grand finals. The meta progresses really quickly, and
for a game that doesn't get updated or anything like that. Yeah, it's really
for
strange.
a game that's like, or I guess that they re-released it, but for a while it was hard to buy. Even like you couldn't buy it on.
Yeah, like did
really?
they take a bunch of the DLC down or something?
They took the DLC down. They took the actual game down. But yeah, it was cool. It was kind of a fitting way to send out the game with like a new kind of player just blowing through and being like, I'm the best Marvel player now. Peace.
Forever.
Again.
That's cool. All right, before we move on, what's up with that Geese Howard thing?
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of announcements.
Yeah, that's they're gonna put Geese. They're gonna put Geese into Tekken.
Fuck
SNK's Geese Howard.
Fuck yeah, like this totally worked.
Yeah,
like, Raging Storm and all.
Tekken just gonna become like a catch-all for guest characters from every other. I'm okay with that.
The talk
was
that
it right.
They were
like it's not Yoda, it's not Spawn, it's not Link.
That's
Man.
right.
It's
Straight up
fucking Akuma.
Yeah.
And he works in the game. And now it's fucking Geese.
Yeah.
All right.
And also like Tekken to me is like the game that a lot of these characters would fit into the least. Until I saw Akuma, I was like, there's no way. Like all these projectile characters, all these like standard fighting game characters into Tekken, which is such a different thing. It was like, this is going to be a fucking shit show. And then Akuma, I think, bears it out where you're like, oh, actually, this really works. And that's exciting. But then there was the stuff where there were files in the most recent Tekken patch that there was talk that they were meeting with Arc, so maybe there would be a Guilty Gear character or something in there at some point. So maybe they really are just going to go out there and do this. Like,
and it's funny, you have this for like the 3D fighters, and then Arc. I don't know if you're going to talk about this in the news, but the new ArcSys announcement. Yes. Blaze Blue Cross.
Oh Jesus!
Oh no, I missed that.
They just put all the anime in.
So it's Blaze Blue, Persona, Ruby,
Unio.
RWBY, which is that Rooster Teeth anime, and
then Under Night.
Unil. Fucking, it's just
I didn't realize
all the anime.
I didn't realize it
games.
was bringing the Persona characters into it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What is the name of this thing?
Well,
wait,
Jesus Christ, in that
settle
too?
down, man.
Wait, no.
Sorry, wait.
Is this a different game? Because I saw the Arika stuff.
No, I just remembered that and got excited.
Okay.
All right.
This
You
is something
fucking
else.
blown me. I was like, wait a minute. If they're going to make a 2D Skullomania, we need to talk.
Arc's
No,
making
but yeah, so
Arc's
there's
making a
gonna
new
be
tag game.
What is the name of this Anime All-Stars thing?
It's Blaze Blue Cross something. It's
Which Persona?
well, they just said
4.
we're bringing in Persona 4 Arena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if like there's some Persona 5 stuff in there.
Yeah, why not?
If they make new characters, I mean, they've got all the characters from P4A.
Sure, yeah.
So there's that, and then Arika. If you remember, like the April Fools. So they're
Still doesn't
obviously
have a
working
name,
on that game. Fighting Lair.
What's that?
Fighting Lair.
Fighting Lair is the old
Yeah.
game, like PS1-ish hardware system. It's like Namco System 12, and that's the game that you had the bonus stage where you fought the shark.
I never played that.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Could you jump over it?
Yeah, I don't know. You can play as the shark in some. I don't know if that's something you could do on the legit arcade cabinet or if that's just a weird hack.
Or if you just know a guy.
I know a guy. His name is me. If you want to play as the shark, I can set that up. And so Fighting Lair came out years ago and had a couple of the characters that some of their moves ended up being in Street Fighter EX3, which is Arika's collaboration with Capcom. And was it Alan and Blair, I think, are the two characters there. That
sounds right.
And so they've got some of those characters from some of that stuff from Fighting Layer, but then also a little bit more of the EX stuff as well. So they haven't given this game an official name yet, but people have taken to calling it Fighting Layer EX.
Yeah, that works for me.
Or like the mysterious fighting game working title, I think is another one that I saw going around.
Well, now all I need to know is all I'm going to call it is the Skullomania game.
Yeah.
Skullomania got fucking
and
announced.
Darwin Meister in that game as well. I hope we get C-Jack and some of these other like
he's
EX
the next
characters.
one that I want. Yeah, D-Dark and stuff.
D-Dark for sure. Yeah.
But fucking Skullomania.
Yeah.
He looks so
and
goofy.
Garuda, the boss from EX, is in there also. So
I never knew that
they've shown him already.
Skullomania has like a backstory. Like he's some
he's
failed
just,
businessman or something, and
wanted to be a superhero.
Fighter.
Just started dressing up in a skull costume and just became the fucking man. Yeah, it's cool. That's been hard for a while because like Arika owned those characters. They had stopped working with Capcom. It sounded like that maybe there were some things that were gonna prevent them from ever working together again.
I'd given up hope.
And so it just seemed like that stuff was maybe just kind of dead because where were they gonna put them otherwise? And then they were like, fuck it, we made enough characters and we own the rights to them that we can just make our own game.
Everybody else is making fighting games.
The game looks pretty cool. Too.
And that game's gonna go into beta on PS4 by the end of this year, and then release early next
year.
That's super exciting.
There's a lot of exciting announcements, but you missed the most exciting announcement of all.
And what's that?
New character coming to Street Fighter V, Abigail from Final Fight. Remember Abigail?
It took me a while to remember, like, oh, right, Abigail.
He's as tall as 2 Kens.
Hang on. Is he a boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really big guy.
He's the guy that spits out the gum, right? Or was that the cop?
I think that's the cop.
Eddie E is the cop, right?
He's not even a boss. He's just like one of the.
A Hugo clone.
I'm trying to place him.
Yeah.
He's got the white and black like leopard
now.
print shirts.
Well, that's not even like that's not even like a top 10.
But they like redesigned
recognizable
him.
Final Fight character.
So my thing is, why are you gonna like if your big thing is, hey, we brought in the guy from Final Fight, but we also redesigned him so he doesn't really look like the guy anymore. But it's him, remember?
Yeah, that art is so open to interpretation. Like if you think about the way
if they had just replaced
fucking Hugo move, like the way his sprite deformed, we got punched,
face
just looks like a fucking weird, creepy clay monster.
Yeah.
Like that barely looks like
leaning into
Andre.
the cartoonish, like exaggerated look for him for sure.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, a little bit. He doesn't look great.
Like in a way that doesn't fit with the other Street Fighter cast.
Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't actually look at that stuff too much.
Maybe don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Is that still part of season 2?
Yeah. It kind of sucked because like, Arxis got out there and they showed off Trunks for the first time in Dragon Ball FighterZ and they had announced, Geese coming. And then there was just all these announcements, the BlazBlue thing, the Skullomania thing, and everyone's just like, fuck yeah. And Evo Top 8's going really well. And then they're just like, people are like, maybe this is going to be the Super Street Fighter V announcement. And then they're like, what's up? This guy's real big.
One
Look
new character.
at him. He's 2 Kens tall.
2 Kens tall. That's the craziest. Whatever.
Let the wind out of a lot of people's
par for the
sails.
course, right?
Yeah.
They've taken chances with characters like the fucking Ed or whatever, and had that work out in a way that is at least interesting. So maybe this will at least be interesting.
Yeah. This whole season's new characters. So we got 2 more in the pipeline, and then it's back to the old guys. Sagat.
Yeah.
Is he announced?
That'll be all right.
No, but there was a leak of like 4 out of the 5 old characters that they're bringing in.
Abigail was leaked too. Like it's Capcom just fucking is Civ.
Yeah.
And yet I didn't know fucking shit about like Skullomania, like all the other announcements. I had no idea.
Geese.
Yeah. No clue.
But like Geese is a really good one because that's because the leaks had or the kind of rumor mongering had kind of pointed in a different direction on top of that.
Totally.
But then also like I saw someone like SNK and Arc sat down. There was a shot of a bunch of those guys out at lunch up on Facebook that I saw. I was like, okay. So maybe there was some talk that maybe that was a business thing.
Everything's a business thing.
Yeah. Ultimately, I like the idea of a lot of these fighting game developers kind of banding together in a way and kind of helping each other out and treating it like a scene on the dev side as well as the way it is kind of on the player side.
Yeah, you're right.
It only benefits the fans and the players. Like seeing your favorite characters in other games gets you drawn into games you might not already play, and vice versa. Like,
and everyone has a vested interest in making the roster balanced, so it's not like a case of like, oh, we're going to put this character in and then make him shitty.
Right.
I would like to see them pull Scorpion into this stuff. I would like to see them get Mortal Kombat.
Just
involved.
all representative from all the major fighting games.
Yeah. And vice versa, like
get Magneto
really,
in there,
really mix it up. I want to say that Ed Boon is on the record as being a pretty big Tekken fan. So let's set it up. Let's do it. Good work.
Would it be Scorpion or would it be like, I don't know,
if you were going to pull a
Chinook?
Yeah, if you were going to pull a
Quan
character,
Chi.
one character from that game, I think it's Scorpion.
Yeah.
It's got to be a boss character, right?
That's true. Akuma and Geese are both
I guess
bosses.
Geese. Yeah, I guess they are both bosses.
Yo, put in Goro and make it a 6-button game.
That'd be fucking.
What?
That would be really good.
That'd be really good.
That'd be really good.
Really weird.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think fighting games got big again. Is what I'm getting
It's a
here.
really good Evo.
It's
It was-
healthy.
yeah.
It's healthy. It's big is a weird term,
yeah.
but
There's a lot going on.
robust.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is after the announcement, like registration and shit was down.
Yeah,
for
really?
this Evo,
Huh.
for competitors, and just looking around, like the fucking audience, like it looked pretty sparse out there at points.
But I think that's, I think fighting, like to your point, it's not that fighting games got big, it's that there's a diversity again.
Yeah.
And, like these games are able, I think in some ways, probably just due to the reaction to Street Fighter V, like some of these games can flourish in a way that they
Yes.
It's an active scene.
wouldn't have before. Yeah. So you start, there's room for more games. There's room for, and there's room for people to expand their horizons a bit, like, and get into an arc game, and take a chance on on Dragon Ball or some of these other games out there, like, that's cool to see.
And this year seeing like Punk, this 18 year old kid who just wasn't even a known name at Evo last year get to grand finals against
And he was
Takedo,
actually,
like one of the greatest fighting game players of all time.
He was pretty favored, actually.
Yeah.
His mode.
Yeah,
He's
it
been
was-
doing so well.
His winner's run was like 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, or 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-0.
It wasn't until they got to like grand finals and the announcers kind of casually mentioned like, oh, they did a casual first to 10 and Tokido beat him 10-0.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, then between this dude being 18, first time in this high pressure situation, like watching that first match, you're like, okay,
He's handled
When
a lot of like.
I'm sure he's handled. Oh,
situations
totally.
before,
I mean, obviously he's like
Tokido's a
super fucking
demon.
talented, but fucking
When Tokido
Murderface is
taunted
fucking
him and
motherfucker.
just like that totally worked. That was one of the best fighting game taunts of all time.
That was
It
a
just
really-
got right in his head.
That was a really good
What
moment.
exactly?
Yeah.
Like Punk. So a little backstory: Punk and Knuckle Dew were kind of like the two best American players for a really long time, and Knuckle Dew's favorite thing to do is taunt and teabag. Like he does it all the time. As kind of a way to tilt players, and so Punk kind of started doing it a little bit, but like not to anyone else. He like kind of got his toes wet in the taunting game, but then in I think it was game 2 of Grand Finals,
Sounds right. Yeah.
Takedo just like whopped him and then taunted him, and the crowd went wild. And like for a Japanese player to taunt is like you don't ever see that.
Yes.
And that totally is like from there on it was pretty free.
As much as I like really wanted to see Punk win,
Oh,
I'm
totally.
super happy for Tokido. Like, he's never taken the ring before. He's never taken an Evo, and he's such a fucking monster. He's so dominant.
Total character loyalist. Been
Yeah.
playing Akuma since Third Strike. Like
I felt, very, very happy for him. Like, he's been playing fighting games for like 15, 20 years or something like that, and has never taken an Evo, but he's, finally did. Super happy for him.
Grab the ring.
Yeah.
and then when they interviewed him,
Inspiring that someone that's been at it that long, that maybe is a little older than your typical esports competitor, can fucking take it.
And still take it,
all right,
yeah.
okay.
How old are we talking?
What is this?
mid-30s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is like ancient
They-
by
Yeah.
esports standards.
They interviewed him afterwards and they asked him a couple questions and they're like, is there anything else you want to say? And he goes, fighting games is a great thing.
Yes.
And everyone was like, yeah!
All right.
James Chen starts bawling.
That's a message everybody can get behind.
Yeah.
Jeff.
That's good, Evo.
Yeah. Sounds like it was a pretty good one.
Some good moments in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Splatoon this week?
I haven't really played much
I played the
more.
Splatfest.
Yeah, I played the Splatfest.
Okay.
Like
I stopped the music.
Yeah.
All right, roll it
It's
back.
about to
yeah, we can talk about. I mean, the Splatfest happened.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing is Splatoon is a very much an online game.
Yeah.
So,
Did they not did the review cycle not facilitate online matches?
They've had I'm not reviewing the game, they did have times,
Yeah.
but you can't. I'm not aware of what
you
they
can't
are.
just hop on and find games.
No,
prior to release.
no. One time I saw Nick Robinson on Twitter saying, "If you got this game, get in here." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I got in and got like 3 matches in on the real retail. But yeah, it's just I got in like the last 10 minutes of one of the Splatfests, and then you played some of it, right?
Yeah, I played 4 or 5 matches. It's Splatoon.
What y'all think?
The demo is rough because I think you get a lot of people that maybe don't know what that game is in there, and you get a lot of people that think it's just a shooter and they're just like out to shoot other people and not paint the arena.
But then you also get a lot of people who've played a lot of Splatoon.
Yeah.
I got beat pretty hard by that's 2 good people on the other team.
There's also the case of it is still exactly that game. So if anyone stuck with Splatoon long enough to get savage at it, they are still raw as fuck.
Yeah.
And yes, I fucking have not won a game of Splatoon.
My team did win, so I'm pretty happy about ice cream.
Yeah.
But this is a full-on new game, right?
Yes.
Like no recycled
They put
maps.
it too in the title.
I don't
Similar
know.
guns.
Like
obviously.
similar guns. They've added
like,
weapons. They've added maps. Like but mechanically, like there's. Did it have the grenades and stuff? Like they've added
the grenades,
but they've added more abilities and stuff.
Yes, there are more abilities. You can the basic gun lets you fly around and just like shoot rockets, basically. Yeah, man, I'm really trying not to say it's just more Splatoon. Like
you could say it, man.
I'm really trying, but it's just more Splatoon.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, like you know if you want that or not.
Yeah.
It's and like from the business perspective or whatever, it's Splatoon on a platform that is way more popular for Nintendo right now. That more people will see it overall. The same reason why Mario Kart being re-released was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like you could look at it in that bucket, even though this is a lot more new than the Mario Kart was.
Here's what I like about playing Splatoon 2 more than playing Splatoon 1 is I'm playing it on I use the motion controls and I'm playing it on a Switch rather than a Wii U gamepad. So the screen is better. It's lighter.
Are you having trouble? So I find that actually playing it with the motion controls.
You're talking about in handheld mode?
In handheld mode sucks because you're tilting the thing that you're looking at.
That I thought would be annoying.
I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
constantly
moving with it. I'm a full-on 4D experience.
Whoa. You're really activating your core, getting a good upper body.
No, I turn that shit off. I
mean, that's how I played the original, so I was just used to it.
I mean, I remember like a month or two after the first one came out, people I think Alex was in that camp of just swearing that motion controls were the only way to play.
Because there's because you're trying to splat that paint around and paint the arena, like you want to whip it. You really want to get it going, and so like there's a gameplay reason why motion controls would be better. I'm just I'm okay with maybe being less good at Splatoon,
sure,
and not doing that.
You can do it on the TV, right? You use the
you could use the Pro Controller. So maybe I'll give that a shot.
One thing I wish they really had changed, but they have officially announced. I saw on Twitter that they aren't changing. Is you have to you go to that main plaza to get into a game. It kind of has the hub world thing, like a fake Miiverse. You have to leave the building, walk into the gun building to change your guns, and then go back into the main. You can't just change in between games.
But you can walk out of the building and at least hit X to pop the menu and warp there. But you can't just warp from one location to the next
or just do it in a menu while you're waiting for the next game to start.
And also, it seems like when you're in waiting for a match to start, there's no way to quit. You can't back out once the timer started, unless I missed it. But I feel like I hit every fucking button on that thing, and I had to wait for the timer because
good, you lever.
Well, there weren't enough people playing, so it was just I'm sitting there stuck in a lobby with one other person waiting for more people to join.
Hey, do you like cake or ice cream?
But you can't even chat, so I'm just yelling at my Switch, going where's if my phone was hooked up, we could chat. I don't know.
I guess that app is out this week, right?
And and. Yeah, so I had to wait for the timer to expire, which then kicks you back to the menu, and then you can back out, and that was a little weird. But as long as people are playing the game, maybe that won't matter. But that salmon run mode is even on that same rotation as that other stuff. Where
what is that?
That's their horde mode type thing. And so that's if you want to play that online, even that's only active certain times of the day and certain rotations. It's kind of modes and maps come and go.
Strange.
Well, that's how Splatoon 1 works.
Yeah,
when you got there, it was these are the 2 maps we're playing right now, and then you'd play long enough, and maybe it would come up and be hey, the maps have rotated.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a different mode, though. It's if I'm not in the mood to play against other people and I want to play a horde mode, then let me play the horde mode.
And it seems like that's if you want to do that whenever you want, you'll have to do it locally, which seems like a weird way to go with
strange.
it. But, maybe they're just concerned that if they don't have enough people, if they split the user base at all, it'll lead to bad situations or something. So they're just kind of making sure they're forcing everyone into one online bucket, one matchmaking bucket.
Locally, how do you set that up?
I don't know.
Huh. Weird. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out once it's like live or whatever.
Yeah, because they showed it local. Anyway, I don't know.
Just kind of hit the switches together and you just kind of knock them into each other enough times, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I immediately started envisioning like fucking Halo on original Xbox LAN parties or something like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure you get to sync it up and do like
there's
four up.
Got to be some way to set that up.
I'm glad they brought their fake Miiverse.
Yeah,
I really like walking around and seeing the drawings that you would see in Splatoon 1 of like whatever the theme is, and some really good artists out there.
Yeah, it's really strange that like that there's no system level Miiverse, but they still decided to just bring one into this.
It was such an essential part of like Splatoon 1 when you loaded up that game and just saw some random art around in the world, and you're like, oh, and I personally, whenever there was a new event, would just walk around there for 15 minutes and look at everything. So the fact that they know that was a big part for a lot of people is cool. Because that Splatoon is one of those games that really drew like an artistic community around it. Like, a lot of my artist friends love Splatoon because it has style. Like, it's really cool. It's more youth focused. So a lot of like young artists are really into it, and bringing that back is cool.
Can you use a stylus on the Switch? Does it? I thought it
I
had
think so, right?
Touchscreen.
It is a touchscreen.
Stylus doesn't work.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Huh.
No? It doesn't come with a stylus. Like if you had a stylus that had like
you get one of those.
If you cut off a bit of your skin and taped it to your stylus, then
or
maybe,
use a sausage.
Yeah.
Yes, use a sausage. Yeah, I guess they make capacitive styluses, but you'd have to go get one.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be hard to do any decent art with your finger. I don't think.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh yeah. Huh. And yeah. I've not seen the interface that people are using to draw that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't try and do anything.
That's I'll be checking that game out more when it comes out, and giving it a look.
Friday?
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Friday. Play anything else of note?
Yeah, let's see. I finished the A run of Nier.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is that the main one? Is that
it's the first one?
Big
the first big one. Yeah.
Did you immediately go right back in like
I did not.
everybody else?
Yeah, no. I the message popped up. It said, keep playing. I said, I will, but not right now.
Okay, so they do kind of lead you by the nose and be like, hey,
there's a message that is literally signed like the Square Enix PR team.
Okay. Yes.
Which I imagine is a joke, but maybe it's them going like, hey, you should point out, like you could envision a scenario where someone said like, no, you need to put something in there that says people should keep playing because otherwise they won't. Trust us on this. We've been through this before. It kind of
serves two purposes. I've seen clips floating around on Twitter of you fighting like the Square Enix CEO in that game or whatever. So like,
I think it's like DLC or something.
And Platinum. They're both in there as kind of an Adam and Eve replacement.
Yeah. So I finished that. I feel like that ending is a pretty anime ass ending and
a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I totally felt about it after I beat A.
Like the A arc is not, it doesn't feel like much of an arc. It just kind of feels like it happens, and you're like, oh, okay, that was not especially difficult or interesting. Okay, all right, yeah, I get it. But,
how much time did you put in for that?
Oh, I don't know. It was like 9 hours, something like that.
Okay,
6 or 7, 8.
Somewhere. And you said subsequent playthroughs are faster, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling better about it then. Yeah, I've been playing a little bit more of it as well, but just trying to find the time to do it has been tough, and I keep hearing like people playing for 20, 30, 40 hours. I'm like, I don't know if I can invest that right now.
Well, that's if you want to get like the real stuff, like like you want to dive back in and get all the way up to E
and do like side quests and stuff. Like,
and I think I would though. Oh man,
and the side quests been like so. I definitely did some side quests along the way, but at some point I kind of just fell off of that a little bit and started pursuing what felt like the main thing.
Yeah.
Almost by accident in some cases, like, I stumbled into this is the too, but yeah, there are definitely a lot of people talking about side stuff, but none of the side stuff I've done has been especially.
It's hard to talk about.
I imagine that there's new side stuff later on that is going to be more interesting.
Yes,
that's
once the true nature of the universe and stuff is revealed, then stuff gets more interesting. But like for the most part, all the early stuff is like funny. Like all of Jackass's side quests are supposed to be
Okay.
like kind of goofy and you know.
I finished all the Jackass stuff in A. It's good. The gameplay is we've talked about it before. I feel like it's serviceable. It's fine. There's nothing I would say is especially wrong with it, but it's repetitive.
Does not hold one's interest.
Like I definitely found myself like finally going like, okay, I need to like change up all these weapons and start using these weapons that are doing less damage than the other ones, just because at least it'll change the attack strings and give me something else to do.
Okay.
Have you upgraded any weapons to level 4 yet?
No, I think I got some to 3.
So that's when you start to get the powers. So every weapon has, when you upgrade it to 3 or 4, has like a special power that's tied to it. And it can be stuff like the steel pipe will bash enemies so they can't move and stuff like that. And so some of that will add variety once you get there. And you can level those up in subsequent playthroughs when money and resources aren't as much of an issue.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, those do help a little bit with
that's cool.
changing things up.
Yeah.
But
So I feel like I'm on the hook story wise, like just enough to want to keep going. For sure, at least a little bit into B and get a look at it.
Yeah, check out those first couple hours of B.
Yeah. But it is as I've been saying, it is kind of the gameplay that is seems like kind of the weak link.
I'll tell you what, it's either going to get a whole lot better or a whole lot worse.
Great. So yeah, I've been playing that and some Loadrunner Legacy.
Yeah,
that just came out.
They put out another Loadrunner product.
Yeah, so the last Loadrunner product that came out, we did a quick look at that. Yeah, we'll look at Legacy.
Okay.
But this last one that came out was rough. Yeah, because it was an adapted mobile game that had a lot of the same dual currency looking shit. Yeah, it had some messed up stuff in there, and also the art style. It just didn't really capture Loadrunner very well. Totally. This one feels like it's very much a back to the roots Loadrunner game where they are. They have the original 50 levels, the canonical fucking original Loadrunner levels in that game.
Wait, exact same levels?
Yeah.
Like, weird.
I mean, because it's just,
you might as well.
It's a puzzle game. The AI behaves by an exacting logic, and the gold is placed a certain way. Like all that stuff, if they recreate it faithfully, Loadrunner's been ported to 1 trillion different consoles and computers and stuff. Like, it's all pretty easy. So that stuff's in there. They have a bunch of new levels. They have a puzzle mode that, is a little more kind of focused on shorter challenges of like, hey, how do I even get to this gold with the tools at your disposal and stuff like that. They've got a level editor, of course, like they've always had. They've got good online sharing functionality for levels, and they've got the ability to kind of customize the look of your characters and the gold and stuff like that. So you can kind of, it's like a more of a voxel look than a straight up 2D look, and I think it works pretty well. It seems like a really good modern it seems like a really good like homage to what Loadrunner actually is than the last one was, for sure.
Also maybe a little predictable, sounds like. Or maybe not predictable. Yeah, just this is it's
a Loadrunner game. Yes, they made another one of those. It's got the levels. It's got this,
nothing radically new.
Yeah, but like I feel like anytime they've done anything radically new with Loadrunner, it's just been it's just stands in the way of Loadrunner.
Yeah, that's
like
it's true of most things.
Like and
do you think them calling this one Loadrunner Legacy is like, look, we know what has happened?
I really think so.
Here you go.
This is
what you remember.
I definitely think that's the case. And I wonder, because what is it? The original game had, I think, 50 levels, if not 100. And then they put out Championship Loadrunner that was way fucking harder on the Apple II and all those computers back then. And then I wonder if those levels are in there too. If not, I guess you just make them. Fuck it. We'll look at that on the site. It seems like a good Loadrunner game, which is fine. There have been a lot of them over the years that have either like just looked like shit or like played wrong or just like have fucked up the Loadrunner thing in a number of different ways. But this with good level creation stuff and like it's I think what people would want out of a Loadrunner game, of the people who would want anything out of a Loadrunner game, which admittedly I'm going to say is maybe not 1 trillion people.
Dwindling demographic.
Yeah. But that's I think people who played Super Mario Maker might want to look at this. This game, in many ways, is the original. It's my first game with a level editor, certainly back in '83 or whatever the fuck it was. Like I made a ton of levels on the Atari version of that game, and so it's got all that stuff, and it's very easy to use.
You should go back and dig up your old discs and recreate some of those levels.
I do still have them.
Like you should totally remake those 83 levels. It's a new game.
Most of the levels I made were garbage. Like there were a couple that were probably out. Yeah, I don't know. I remember making a lot of like ones that were deliberately easy. Because the thing that like so the crux of Loadrunner is you get all the gold and exit the level. When you get all the gold, you can make ladders appear to help you exit the level. So you could do things like spell out curse words in the level ending ladders, and then as soon as you collect the last gold, it just comes up and says "fuck off," and you're like, "Yeah."
I did that.
So I imagine that's probably what most of my levels probably were. Then.
You should definitely go dig up those levels.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
I still have a working Atari, so that stuff is there somewhere. Speaking of games with fucking level editors, it's a crazy fucking week for that stuff. I have not really spent a lot of time with either of these, but in the dark side of video games, Mega Man Maker came out.
What?
On the dark side?
What?
Some fans made a thing called Mega Man Maker and put it out on PC.
Okay.
And it seems like the sort of thing that a lawyer is going to start writing papers up for
I want to see this.
any minute now, because they have an online server that lets you play other people's levels.
Wow.
Really?
So they have have something that they have an asset that a lawyer could go after and shut down that server. Is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like they've taken art and music and tiles and characters and enemies and bosses from Mega Man 1 through 6, and they have made a Mario Maker like level editor.
Okay.
And you can upload the levels to a server and you can rate them after you like it is incredibly well made. It is exactly the sort of thing that Capcom should be coming to them and saying like, all right, you need to take this offline, but let's keep talking.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what they did with that Mega Man vs. Street Fighter thing.
Right. Yeah, this is something that should officially get support. This is something that should get cleaned up for a commercial release. Like this is, it's rough. Like the editor is there and it's functional. Sure.
You think there's appetite for makers outside of Mario? Like it's not just Mario.
That was the big one that everyone was talking
made that thing
about.
go.
Yeah. So.
Mega Man, like that was they wanted to do that on PSP with that Mega Man powered up thing, and they had other stuff.
Especially if they could bring it to
mind.
Switch like that, I would kill for an editor of any kind.
Good touchscreen driven.
Yeah.
Level editor,
you could make that level editor a lot better.
I know Tim Terry's listening.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Tim.
Tim, tell the lawyers to fucking ease the fuck back. And it is a really fascinating because they actually like a week ahead of its release or however long came out and said like, hey, we're putting this out on the 15th. And I was like, you idiots, just put it out. Put it out before they can tell you not to.
Put it out and then destroy your website.
Exactly. But, since it has online functionality and logins and passwords and stuff, but anyway.
They control the only server. They didn't like put out code to run your own server or something
not
like
at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they've got some bug fixes they're working on and stuff from looking at their message boards and stuff. So yeah, it's a really great first attempt. It's really neat to see because you can kind of specify. If you think about Mega Man, a lot of it is about like what order do you play the levels in. And right now, it's very much like you create a level and you determine which abilities Mega Man has going in.
Cool.
So you can kind of build challenges around specific weapons and stuff like that, which is probably the right way to do it in lieu of like just making a series of 8 levels and having people pick.
And that's a pool of like what, almost 50 bosses?
Something like that.
Yeah. Do all the
I don't know I don't actually know if they have every single one of them. I didn't dig in too deep, but yeah, it's for what it is, for a fan project, it is quite well made and nicely polished up.
Sounds crazy
in a way that I hope that this thing survives. I hope that they get it by any means. Whether they're going to update it on their own and continue to make it better. But ideally, Capcom, a company that like needs to do something with Mega Man other than these legacy collections. It would be nice to see them like look at this and go like, hey, someone is solving these problems for us. Let's bring them into the fold and get this out to a wider audience and clean it up.
What if they're just working on a much worse Mega Man?
Yeah, I mean that's the scary thing is that they've got a similar project, so they just sue this thing out of existence and then
theirs comes out and it's like you could play with Mega Man 1 or 2 bosses.
Right. Yeah. Well, we've got Cut Man.
Every level has the Wily music from Mega Man 2 in it, and it's okay.
And the jumping is all wrong. I don't know. Yeah, but it's really cool. Also, I have not tried this, but apparently someone made a Super Mario 64 Maker.
Saw that.
I watched a video of that.
It's intense.
It is like a level editor there's a level editor that you are in a Mario 64 level plotting. It's not like a separate editor. You're in the N64 setting down platforms and making things happen, and it's a fascinating, weird thing. It seems like a weird, hacky, crazy thing, but I don't know. Looks neat.
I want to look into these.
Yeah.
While I can.
Right. Yeah.
Get ready to kiss them goodbye.
Yeah. So I don't know. I screw down with that stuff a little bit. And I have been playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is
what's that about?
It's a shooter. You jump out of a plane.
Is it first or third person?
It can be either.
Is it like that thing they showed off at E3 where Jethro Tull was shoutcasting?
It's exactly
okay.
Like that. It's like
like that, but military.
Early access multiplayer game that nobody's gonna play. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's probably dead. I have been playing a lot of solos.
Yeah.
In my spare time.
Any more chicken?
No. I got 11th place. I'm getting a lot of top 20s. I'm either getting like high 90s or top 20.
Okay. Well, that just means you're keeping it spicy. So.
Yeah, basically. So
what is the cutoff for like a good run? Like top 20, you think is enough? I want
to get kills.
Enough
like,
to brag about?
Like because your top 20 runs go one of two ways, right? Like either I'm having a lot of runs where I'm getting like 11th place and stuff like that and barely seeing anyone the entire time. So it feels like a shitty way. Yeah. Just like, I crawled on my stomach. Like I'm not deliberately avoiding conflict. It's just like, I didn't see any players. And then the second one I saw, like first one I saw, I killed him. Second one I saw, got me. Like, all right, move on. Do it again. So I'm having those types of runs, but also some better ones where it's like, okay, here's 4 kills. Here's, like getting to 18th place, but killing 4 like that. That to me is fine. Like if I'm having a run and getting 4 kills, like if I have a run where I finish like 50th, but I get like 3 or 4 kills,
still feel
like
pretty
that
good about
feels
yourself,
better than winning with 1 kill or something like that. It probably would. So.
I watched some high level PlayerUnknown's this weekend for the first time. Like I just was like, okay, I'm going to tune into the top Twitch streamer because I'm sure they're either very good or very entertaining, but it's usually a combo of both.
Yeah, sure.
And holy cow, this dude was. I watched him play basically a whole game. He got 15 kills, first place. It went down to 4 people left, and he the second he heard a gunshot, he knew exactly line of sight where they were just from hearing it. And then he he was like, okay, I see this rock here. That means he's probably at this angle behind this rock, and then just snuck around, and sure enough, saw the guy crouching there and just pop right in the back of the head.
Wow.
Just It made me realize how I know I'm not good at the game, but when I just see that,
that sounds surgical.
It's incredible seeing how good, and it makes me think of okay, yeah, of course, because this is the people who came from Arma, right? Where it's just
right, probably, yeah, where that is all the stuff you learn and know, yeah. So by contrast, I had an encounter yesterday where a guy was hiding, ran behind a hay bale. I got a few shots into him. And he got over there, and then I ran behind a building and lost track of which fucking hay bale he was behind. Came out the other side, pointed at the wrong hay bale, threw a smoke grenade over there, started running into the smoke, and then he just popped out from a totally different hay bale and shot me. And I was like, "Yep, that's about right. That's about
how real war would go down."
Yeah, that's about how I would do in a real conflict.
Man, we had some good times with vehicles yesterday on the stream. Actually, after you hopped out.
Yeah, I saw you guys.
We had a point where we got 4 different vehicles, and just because we happened to be literally across the island from the circle. And it was like, all right, we need to move. And we just happened to find 4 vehicles. It's like, all right, let's just have a convoy.
Yeah.
And it turned into the whole thing. We had a couple of Mad Max style chases with I was the last one alive, trying to get away from a Jeep full of 4 guys all leaning out, shooting at me at the same time. It made me want a vehicle, an all vehicles mode, some kind of 100 vehicles on the map kind of thing with just a bunch of car combat.
Demo derby.
Yeah, that would be a really cool mode.
Yeah.
Especially because you can shoot out tires and stuff like that.
Right.
I think it would lead to all kinds of ridiculous hijinks.
I played exactly 1 match, and it was on Friday morning. And I landed right next to a dude. We started having a fist fight. I was winning, so we started running, and I chased him. And I chased him across the map. I literally chased him for 2 solid minutes, through a red zone with explosions going everywhere because he was intent on running towards the circle and he couldn't go around because then I'd catch up to him.
Were you close enough that he knew you were there?
Oh yeah, I was right behind him, but you move at the same speed, and so we were just like running. He eventually runs into a house, manages to shut the door before I get in there. I open the door, and when I open the door, he starts swinging at me with a scythe that was on the ground and kills me. And it was. I got 0 kills, but it was one of the most fun rounds of Battlegrounds I've ever played.
Yeah, we had one of those yesterday where we dropped in. I chased someone for a really long time,
It's so fun.
And then of course, like the minute I stopped chasing him, I got killed. I was like, actually, I'm going to break off this because Vinny's down, and I'm going to pick him back up. And then as soon as I stopped, someone just popped around the corner with a gun and went, "Check this out!" Brat! And I'm like, "Oh well, shit." The game's a lot of fun. That game is still a lot of fun. They're
continues to be really
they're
good.
rolling out first person only servers, which is not like
it's fine that it's there. I mean, I guess my only concern is that it's may fragment the player base somewhat, but there's so many people playing. I doubt that's going to matter.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna get that one dude in your Discord group that's like, "No, guys, we gotta do the first person only mode.
Gotta play the real way."
I feel like that's the other like stat to track is I joined 2 more Discords over the last week. To play this game with different people, so
or in some cases the same people.
Right? Yeah, it actually in almost every case it is another configuration of the same people.
Definitely on like 3 or 4 Discords with a lot of the same people on them. Yeah,
someday they'll all consolidate.
Yep. Benjamin,
Hi.
is that actually your name?
It is.
It is.
I
totally guessed that out of nowhere without any clue whatsoever. What have you been playing?
I played Prey.
Oh.
I ended up, we were talking a little bit about it, and they were telling me maybe wait for the PC version when it goes on sale, but I happened to be out and saw a copy for $40.
Okay.
And I was like, for the PS4.
Yeah. I mean, they fixed the controls.
They've patched it enough.
That's the big thing
at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I got to about where we were in the quick look.
Okay. That was like 4 or 5 hours in or something.
Yeah. It's through kind of the first few main story missions, and I am really liking it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It starts so well.
Yeah.
Like the initial reveal in that game when you first get going, I think is so well done.
Wait, which one specifically?
Just like the nature of just like, like
the kind of the
very
when you're in your apartment taking a helicopter over to the other building.
Like that stuff is like,
and like
really
you see like the credits on the buildings and
did you guys find I missed this the first time through and then I restarted over on PC and found it the second time that you can go manually operate those fake reality controls?
Yep.
Like you can turn you can switch the different realities on and off and watch, and it's a crazy effect because it's not just a like 2D skybox that they're drawing in. It's like literal like 3D level that is like appearing and disappearing as you operate these controls. It's like super cool.
Yeah.
It's a really neat intro.
It's really cool because it's like, I mean, just watching you play it, I immediately got that BioShock vibe, right? I'm like, okay, it's kind of the sense of exploring a area where something has gone catastrophically wrong, and
it's
you're
Art
kind of
Deco.
It's Art Deco. You're reading these text logs. You got a wrench.
Yeah.
But then you start playing it, and you realize there's like a Deus Ex aspect to it, where like you're teching up how you want to. Do you want to be a hacker? Do you want to be able to lift really big things? Do you want to be good at combat? Like the first ability I unlocked was that kind of like bullet time. They call it like enhanced combat something, where you basically can hit R2 and time slows down. And I was like, so I want to like, okay, I'm like mentally, I'm like, okay, I want to just get really good at combat, right? But then I started like playing and I found all these consoles and stuff that I can't use and all these turrets and shit. And I'm like, oh man, maybe I want to like get really into robotics. And I just really like how interpretive it is. There's a screen eventually, and I realized like this is where the actual game starts, but it pops up and it's like, hey man, you don't have to fight everyone. Just play it how you want to play it. Just do whatever you want to do. But like probably don't just run in there and try and shoot everyone to death.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, you walk in the room and there's like way more enemies than you can handle and shit. And you're like, oh fuck. I like how it's set up kind of with that like main lobby and there's a bunch of locked doors and stuff. And you're like, okay, obviously I'm going to be coming back here and going into all these different rooms. And sometimes you go into a room and you walk around the corner and there's like 3 of those big dudes, the like really big scary dudes, and you're like, I should not fucking
not
be
going
here.
that way.
Yeah.
I need to leave immediately.
But like first time I found one of those, I'm like, can I sneak around these guys? Or, like I hadn't fought one of them yet, so I'm like, well, maybe I can just take them down. Maybe I just gun my way through this. And nope, clearly that's not it. It's like, okay, can I slip around them? Like, maybe, but
Yeah. I definitely fought one of those dudes for the first time, and like you ended up using 2 health packs. It was a long, laborious process. I died a bunch of times.
It's pretty brutal early on.
Yeah, but I eventually beat him, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I can. It made me feel really powerful without giving me like I used a glue gun and a wrench.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool feeling, and I'm really looking forward to where this game goes.
It seems really built around making you choose how you want to play to the exclusion of the other ways. Like that, maybe they start dumping skill points on you like crazy by the end. I don't know, but early on, it was very much like, well, I want to repair all the broken stuff that I find, but then that means I'm not going to be able to hack anything, and then I won't have any health. Like it seems like very like kind of this or that.
A little too text heavy for my liking. A lot of emails that you like if you want to get the whole story, right? And it's not vital, but I would like maybe some more audio logs and a little less reading emails, especially because like when you get close to the screen and look down to try and look at it, like the perspective doesn't quite work, so you have to kind of like
there's a like lock to computer screen button. I forget how it works exactly, but yeah, you can make it like center your view on the screen.
That will help a lot. A lot of books,
Right.
It's all stuff that's providing flavor, but like I just wish it was presented a little bit different.
Interesting backstory,
not red vines. I got you.
Basically, that's kind of what I'm getting. Yeah, I like all their like alternate history. Like JFK was never assassinated, and then like we worked with the Soviets in the '80s on a space station and all that stuff. Yeah, like it's cool stuff.
What about grapevines?
Grapevines are still like chalky. I don't know.
Too gritty.
Yeah, good flavor though.
So it's mostly a texture thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like Twizzler. It's mostly a texture thing.
That's why I don't like either of them.
Get out.
Shameful.
I don't know you people.
That was pretty much it. Other than losing like 250 MMR in Dota.
Yeah, that'll happen. Oops, that will happen.
Whoops.
Yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
Yes.
Jason, you play anything you want to bring up?
Yeah. I think so.
It's all right if you didn't. It's cool.
More Dead Cells as well. That's new updates and stuff. That game's great. Started playing Fallen Legion. This game kind of popped out at me. It looked a little like Valkyrie Profile, that kind of combat. Indivisible.
Yeah.
More recently, and very much that kind of game. And they really, really lean into that
action combat kind of JRPG hybrid type stuff.
It's interesting to me because it's like everything you've got to time everything. It's still kind of menu based. You're just selecting like this party member is going to go and it's like filling up like a gauge of sorts. So if you put them in a certain order, they'll do like a link attack or like a big attack or something like that. And it's interactive in that, you have like an active block so you can like parry stuff as well. So it gets a little, frantic and hectic and a little crazy at times. And in so much that I can't tell when I'm supposed to be putting in attacks. Like sometimes I'll be hitting the button and it won't actually register in my little gauge down below. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? So I haven't figured out like the nuances of it just yet. Also not really into the story as well. Like, so the gameplay is mainly you're running from like, the left side of the screen and it's like a scroller, and you come across a group of enemies and fight them and then you continue running. But sometimes there'll be like, a prince that comes by and forces you to make a decision or something like that, like a snap reaction. There's a little bit of text down below. So it's like rapid fire. You got to make this call. But that's pretty much the story.
How much
elements
in there?
It's very JRPG.
Hell yeah.
If this interests you, it seems pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like I need my story presented in a different way. I think besides just the cutscene with just text and stuff. There's a little bit of voice acting, but the combat seems okay so far. There's an alternate Vita version as well.
Yeah, you were saying something about that yesterday.
It's like a kind of like two sides of the same coin. So you're getting the A story in the PS4 version and like the B story on the other one.
Interesting.
It's like Tony Hawk's Underground 2, but then on PSP it was Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix.
Yeah.
It was Need for Speed Most Wanted 510 on PSP. Gun Showdown.
So I don't know.
Sorry,
exactly
I went through my PSP games over the weekend. So
see.
I also played a little bit of this game called The Initial, which is, hey, you're a schoolgirl slashing up stuff with swords and stuff. That's my kind of game. But
What kind of costume DLC we talking?
I haven't seen any yet.
What the
There's
fuck?
extras. Yeah,
Is this
I
early
haven't unlocked
access?
it.
What do we
I mean,
doing?
I got $100 to spend. What,
Yeah, what kind of swimsuits we getting for this hundo?
None yet. Fuck. I know. They dropped the ball. Combat seems okay in that.
stuff
as well,
that game back
but
in a locker.
Man, it's there's some really bad translation
Yeah.
stuff. Well, not even translation. Well,
Is
I
this
don't know
on
if
Steam?
they. Yeah, it's on Steam.
There's some stuff on Steam these days. I know
There's some stuff
There's some
on
stuff.
Steam.
things are going on
Yeah.
on that platform.
By stuff, do you mean shit?
I've seen about passing any judgment here. Just
Yeah.
But I cannot like really
wide
even
array
if
of
you're
content.
like a super stylish action fan like I am. I still can't recommend this one.
they're just catering to a variety of tastes.
It's too rough. I don't like it. But yeah, nothing really great as of late. It's still more Ratchet and Clank as well. That game's super fun. Yeah, love it.
I've tried to go back to the End is Nigh a couple times after we fired it up on UPF.
Yeah.
I don't.
Not grabbing you.
I
Were you a Meat Boy fan?
yes, huge.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like that's hence my consternation.
Yeah.
Like you say, like, hey, one half of Team Meat made a new platformer in the vein of Super Meat Boy. Like, yeah,
Totally.
dude, totally. Also, it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he'd been tweeting about it off and on
Yeah.
for a few months, I
I
guess.
had not
but-
been following it. But
yeah, like maybe I wasn't following it closely, but it felt like it just sort of dropped. And then we played it on UPF, and I played it like 2 more times since then, and I got like 3 screens in each time, and was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm not sure why.
having the levels strung together like
Yeah.
that, I think, is an interesting progression from what
I guess
Meat Boy
so.
was, but also like I don't think it succeeds. I don't think it does it very well.
I
And
kinda-
don't like the way the hidden levels are kind of
Yeah, that stuff's
struggle, like
it's-
where that stuff where you find yourself looking for those.
I kind of enjoyed finding some of the secrets, like some of the exits, like the secret exits are kind of
Yeah.
unconventional, but like I don't know, I prefer the Meat Boy like discrete levels off a menu sort of format where you've got leaderboards and time trial stuff,
That's
and like
that is what I'm saying.
that's-
Because
yeah,
that
that's-
is
that's-
that is preferable for me for this specific type of game.
and it's just like I don't know, it's got the same general sense of humor and like.
But that's the thing. Meat Boy didn't really have like a lot of humor
You don't think
because it
so?
didn't have a lot of exposition. There was
it
like
had a
cutscenes,
personality to it, for
but there was
sure.
no like
Yeah.
written dialogue.
I would
and
say
stuff.
though that like looking at this game and the writing and the tone of it, I definitely am like, oh, this is from the mind that brought you The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, totally.
Yes,
Like,
but there's way more like jokes in it than there were
Yes,
before, which
yeah.
I do not. I'm not down with.
Cannot
those.
feeling-
truck with those jokes.
Not into those jokes.
I mean, they're pretty bad in a way that like I definitely appreciated a couple of the first skeletons where I was like, that sucks.
but then they're all like,
good, that's
"This
good."
sucks, right?
right, yeah, and then
right?
after a while you're like, yeah,
You're
okay.
like, yeah, we get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried playing it one more time and then uninstalled it after EPF. I was
Okay.
like, I kind of
Definitive.
got up a little bit past where you were
Yeah.
when we played it on the show.
Yeah.
And
I wish
I'm
I-
just not connecting with it at all.
I wish I had that ability to just uninstall a game that I
give
know
up
I'm not
on it.
going to play anymore.
Yeah, you should uninstall.
How do you do it?
I run out of hard drive
you
space.
right click?
and I make some tough choices.
I like to keep my Steam library tight. And so I brutally uninstall stuff because also my internet's fast enough that I can just reinstall it if that ever comes
I
up.
still
again.
have like every game I got from every Humble Bundle.
I am like that on my Xbox. So I got an external like Seagate sent over like an external drive that was green. So naturally it had to be hooked up to an Xbox. It was
Man,
like they
same
were like,
here.
it's our gaming hard drive. I'm like, all right, well let's try it with this external stuff. And then I immediately went and downloaded everything on my profile.
Yep.
And then I
Same.
continued on that on the Xbox One. And they, I now have like 400 Xbox One games because of all the backwards compatibility stuff.
Oh, do you get all
and
your backwards compatible stuff?
I downloaded everything.
I don't.
I was
fuck
like,
with that.
fuck it. I got the space. I got this
Yeah.
S. I got this
Yeah.
external drive. Like, let's go. And then I realized that this is ridiculous. And like my games and apps takes forever to load. And it's like a sluggish, bad experience. And also the external filled up. And instead of just naturally like handling it, it pops up and says, you need to clear some space in your external for this patch.
Yeah.
And I was like, how about I just uninstall this entire game and we call it even?
That'll do it.
So I've been like cutting a lot on the Xbox One and uninstalling stuff there. But that's how I was on the consoles, just because the idea of having that much storage and that many games on a console was really novel. So.
I hit my limit on the PS4 for the first time when I was downloading Prey stuff.
How many? What do you got? A terabyte?
I think so.
500?
Maybe 500.
I had a 500, and man, every fucking week I'm.
Yeah, I can't admit, dude.
giving up.
I have an external drive hooked up to that.
Yeah,
now,
it's
too.
same here.
It's
I've got
blue.
I've got 3 terabytes total on the PS4, and I'm having to delete stuff because I am the same way. I downloaded absolutely everything I could.
Yeah, I stopped with that.
It's a bad way to live.
But
maybe I'll play Mass Effect Andromeda again one day. I don't know. Who knows?
no, that was one of the games I uninstalled. It felt really good.
Even having that good internet speed, like I don't want to re-download stuff on PSN.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty slow.
Anyway, we'll do a quick look at the end of Denied, but it's just not.
Yeah, it's weird.
doing
Like
it for me. I don't know, the
I was a
platforming,
huge Super Meat Boy
yeah,
fan
like,
as well,
I
but
should
I've
say-
never like felt the urge to play like a sequel or anything like that. Like I didn't. Like, I wasn't itching for.
I mean,
like,
this
another
has
one of those.
this has new mechanics. I mean, like that world we left off in on UPF
Right,
has like
yeah.
your underwater stuff, and there are weird
That looks
mechanics
cool.
around that. It's different, but not hugely so. Like, there's a few details are different from Super Meat Boy, but it's not that big a departure.
It's similar. I mean, and
yeah.
certainly there have been plenty of games that have been similar to Super Meat Boy in the years since.
Yes.
But
Bad Bear.
yeah, Bad Bear, for example.
Super-
Yeah, I don't know.
Super Rude
It's
Bear.
just-
Super
yeah,
Rude
super,
Bear.
yeah, the baddest bear.
Yeah.
I also installed a new cable modem. Like
Nice.
I realized that my internet speed was faster than my cable modem was
Got that-
capable of.
Got that
Oh,
DOCSIS
yeah.
3
Yeah, 3.1 full.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
shit.
That's right.
word.
And that ended up, yeah, I don't know. I had broken antenna on my router in the
Nice.
process. It's just fucking chaos that almost led to me going out and buying a new router because like the self-provisioning process wasn't working. Anyway, it was fun.
Internet.
It was a fun afternoon.
It's cool.
For something that should have, it was one of those like, this is going to be a 10-minute job. And then like an hour and a half later, you're like,
Nope.
am I going to go spend $500 on a new router because I hate myself? Or
There's
what?
nothing that can be worth $500 in a router. That's not possible.
It'll run a Plex server.
Okay, all right. That might be
The
kind of
router itself will.
Yeah.
Huh.
Should just build a router.
No.
I got pretty far down the road of building my own router a few months ago before I realized I didn't actually need that.
Yeah.
But
I started looking
but
into
you
it
should
as
do
well,
that.
and I'm like, that looks like a fun project,
would
but
be cool.
I don't know if I need it.
That would be cool.
I mean, I do have a PC that is my Plex server that kind of just sits there on.
Could make that a router.
I'm pretty sure I know what a router is.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
But don't ask me.
We'll talk later. Lastly, I fired up the Destiny 2 beta right before this.
Oh, cool.
Because it just launched right before this.
Like an hour before, right?
It worked.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, surprisingly.
It sounded like that it did not work for a good
For the
half
first,
hour
the
or
first
so,
okay.
yeah.
I tried it about 45 minutes
Yeah.
after it went up, so it was working by then. We thought we had played everything that was going to be in that, but apparently there is some new stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
there,
yeah, a
there
little bit.
Like are new missions or a new mission or like more of the same mission that had not been seen. I don't
It
know.
is the homecoming mission, which I
Yeah.
was led to believe that was the mission that I
Spider-Man
played.
in
But
it?
yeah, Spider-Man. You play
got-
as Spider-Man, the Spider-Man subclass.
I got about 3 minutes into the first mission they start you on, and there were like non-hostile NPCs just like walking around
Yep.
talking and doing things in the level, which is like
I mean,
already more
even-
storytelling
yeah.
than the entirety of Destiny 1.
Even the kind of more abrupt version of that mission I played back at the reveal event that they had, and then I think that's the same thing they showed at E3.
Yeah.
Even that shorter version of this mission had like more character and variety and life in it than I'm going to say about a full third of Destiny 1,
Yeah.
like vanilla Destiny 1.
Yeah. Yeah, like this
it's-
the stuff I just saw, it's like because the city's under attack, but you're like you go into this one building and there are like people sheltering in there, and like the Nathan Fillion robot character is there, and like some of the other named characters, and they're walking around doing stuff, and there's dialogue, and it's like a real video game.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
At the same time, though, like it's a game built around playing missions over and over and over, so that stuff's going to be fine for like
Yeah.
the first 3 runs, and then you're going to totally not care about
Yeah.
it. So
Maybe they'll have like a storyless version
Yeah.
of the mission for
Yeah.
replays or something.
yeah, we'll see.
Or maybe
But,
they'll
Or maybe they
Maybe
just
not
turn to you
have
and
you
say, "Why are
replay it."
you back? What are you doing
Yeah.
here again? You've already."
Is there more stuff here?
we already
Did
killed that
someone
boss.
hide more
This
stuff?
isn't
Like,
happening
what-
anymore.
Why are you?
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll try to sit down and mess with that thing in the near future.
Yeah.
Time-
if it's
time-
got some new stuff in it, then
Time
I want
allowing.
to play Destiny.
Yeah,
I still haven't played
play
more
some
than
Destiny.
that first
I-
level of Destiny 1.
I feel like there's been a level of excitement around the Destiny 2 beta that really it's coming from people that I would not expect to ever
yeah.
care.
I mean, even like half the people on this staff are going like, "Yeah, okay, I'd said to fuck off to Destiny, but I'm ready to try it again."
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah, me too.
This is
I bought 2 copies of
Yeah.
Destiny. Yeah, I really wanted to like that.
This is the clean break that people were probably waiting for.
Yeah.
to give Destiny another shot. So we'll check it out soon. Why don't we take a break before we come back and talk about some other stuff? What do you say? Let's take a break. Now is the time in the podcast when we talk about
the smell in the
news.
office.
That is some news.
Yeah, what the hell's
Yeah,
going on out there?
Yeah, we were talking about it. These guys haven't smelled it yet, but it
I
smells
stayed
like
in here
something
during the
died in
break.
vents.
Seriously, it's nasty.
Did you?
Are people like running around in like terror out there?
No,
It's
they're
g-
not.
It seems like it will get to that point. I've heard people talking to each other like, I need to leave. This is debilitating.
And it's not like one concentrated area.
No,
Like,
it's spreading over to our
I went out
side
to the
too.
front
Permeate the
office, like
floor.
it's there. It's making its way to the GameSpot side. It's
That's,
And-
that's
and
the
we're-
genesis of it, from what I understand.
Really?
It's the kitchen next to the GameSpot.
And this is not somebody microwave some cod. Like we're talking
No.
literal death and decay.
yeah.
What it
dead
reminded me of is in elementary school we did an experiment where we learned about mold, and so you had to grow mold on an orange overnight, and then you come back the next day and popped
Like,
open
"Ooh,
the thing and
mold."
looked at it, and then you just smell that mold smell for the first time, and then you're like, oh, gross.
I think it's the Street Fighter V cabinet.
Street Fighter V died in there.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they
Oh,
are
it's
playing a
awesome.
lot more Tekken and
Yeah, that's true.
Mortal Kombat on that machine than they used to. So
And
four.
maybe,
Well,
yeah, and Street Fighter 4 getting a lot of play over there.
all right. Well, let's see how the rest of this day goes. I guess.
I'm staying
Just
here.
hide in here. 8-hour podcast.
Just okay. All right.
All right.
We're gonna lunch in
Someone
here.
order a pizza.
All right. Well, let's talk about the other news
Oh, okay.
of the week. Actually, the news of the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, 20,
Breaking
20-ish.
news.
Breaking.
Breaking news.
Here we go. Here's our breaking news sound.
Casey Hudson's
Hit it.
back at BioWare. Casey
Yeah, but
Hudson.
this is breaking news. It's different.
I don't have a
It's
breaking
next level.
news.
It's the news
Can you like
theme.
play the news theme faster?
It's the news theme, but like if there's only 20 seconds left on the
Yeah,
clock,
okay,
and
that's good.
It goes up
Yeah,
to
it's
a higher
broken.
pitch.
This is
It's
good.
broken.
All right.
Broken news.
Good enough. Casey Hudson's back at BioWare. What the hell?
Whoa!
Yeah.
The doctor is in.
That's-
Wait, that's not.
No,
Nope.
he's a doctor
That's not
now,
him.
officially.
He's the other guy.
Workshopping that
My
one.
bad, guys.
What? You think
Aaron
they just,
Flynn is stepping down
also
at the
Aaron
end of
Flynn.
July.
Yeah, the I guess previous general manager was his.
yeah, he was
role?
GM of BioWare.
Casey Hudson is now becoming the GM
GM, yeah.
of BioWare.
Sounds
like
he had left
Flynn-
about 3 years ago and ended up at Microsoft
Yes.
working on some HoloLens stuff. From
In-
the sounds of it.
In pursuit of, quote, the new wave of disruptive technologies that were emerging, is what he went to do at Microsoft.
Okay. Someday those will emerge.
I guess. But what? Do you think they just like went to him on the sly after Andromeda came out? They're like, dude,
We need some kind of victory.
get back in here.
Some kind of good sounding statement.
We will pay you whatever.
Maybe.
Please come run BioWare.
Also,
Like you don't like to
what's
say
happening with Microsoft's tech?
Right.
yeah, I mean, maybe
maybe that
maybe
ended up-
nothing was happening there, and he
Yeah.
wasn't happy with it or whatever. But like,
you don't like to say that you don't like to run a business that way,
yeah,
but it's certainly not entirely out of the question that would be something that they'd go like, okay, what can we do to get this studio back on track?
like win some hearts and minds back.
Yeah.
Like, what's happened since he left? Like, Dragon Age Inquisition came out.
Yeah.
The Old Republic kind of got better,
Oh, yeah.
and then Mass Effect Andromeda came out.
Right.
Like, that's kind of the history of BioWare since he
And then
left.
he had been working on some
What
new
was that?
IP thing, Shadow Realms.
Shadow
I think is
Realms,
what
I
they were
think, is
calling it at
that's the
time.
thing that got canceled.
Yeah.
Probably like shortly after he
Yeah.
left. I
So
think.
that's not Anthem.
No.
Okay.
No, that was a like some kind of team-based game.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, weird. That's not much more to it than that. Yeah, like Aaron Flynn's going to stay on. What was it?
Through the end of July.
Yeah,
So
basically
not
like,
long.
to get him up to speed on running BioWare.
Yeah.
Look, it's exactly how you remember it, but a little bit worse.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's kind of most things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair,
That's a fascinating change.
it is very strange and unexpected.
Yeah, not how I would have seen this going. Yeah, you have to wonder like how much of the Andromeda stuff would be. I mean, like he's the GM of the studio.
Yeah.
Like that stuff rolls up to him at some point.
Sure. You're talking about Flynn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like he could end up kind of even if some of the stuff is out of his control and maybe bigger than him.
Yeah.
And bigger than BioWare. Well, I don't know enough about the story to say, but at some point, people fall on their swords for
Yeah.
stuff and move on. He doesn't really give a reason, like a particularly clear reason for the move in his farewell post. There's kind of I was thinking about making some changes and seemed like Casey was up for it, and that made it a lot easier for me to say, like the studio's in good hands, like that sort of stuff. It's a fascinating move.
Yeah,
It's the most interesting thing BioWare's put out in like the last year or so. So
Yeah, sure.
So okay.
Yeah, who knows where this will go? I mean, Anthem looking like it's pretty far along already.
Right. Yeah.
But do you think EA corporate is becoming sensitive to this narrative that EA acquires studios and then runs them into the ground and destroys them and shuts them down? Because that is the narrative about EA. Like
it is, but no,
in forum
like
land.
it can't be, because like that's, you know, yes, they have stacked up some bodies, but also when you acquire companies, like this is usually you get the key employees to work out the terms of their deal, and usually that's when they leave.
Yeah.
And then then without the original creative heads of it, you kind of hope that you can kind of like replace them and keep it going and all those stuff. That's the thing you acquired.
That's where it's always broken down.
But that's where it breaks down for them. It's like it turns out that when these studio heads, like it's hard to, like a Casey Hudson like figure, but also the doctors.
Yeah.
When their time is up and they move on, it's a different place. Like the culture's different.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, okay, now it's an EA team. Now it's an EA studio, because like the people that were probably the buffer that would kind of keep the corporate culture a certain way are maybe not there anymore.
Right.
And I can't speak too well for this because I just don't really know many people at BioWare.
But 9 times out of 10 in the history of EA, that transition from like thing we bought to like EA studio has been a downward trajectory.
Yeah. And it's been like we bought this IP and we want to keep making this IP, and oh wait, the team that really cared about this IP left, and now who do we get to make this IP? Yeah. Turns out no one. So here's Wing Commander in a vault somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I don't think I can blame them for acquiring studios and all other stuff. I think that and also like I think some acquisitions are just going to go that way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, to put the question another way, do you think this is them trying to save BioWare from that same fate?
Maybe, or maybe this is just like a somewhat unrelated to maybe Aaron Flynn just decided it was time to move on.
Well, I'm talking more about going out and getting the high profile guy that made probably your biggest thing ever.
Maybe everyone was just talking at a bar and he was like, I'm not super happy at Microsoft, and it was like just crazy talk about. Hey, I mean, I know this is insane, but would you ever think about coming back? And it's like, I mean, let's talk.
Do you want to give me a bunch of money?
Yeah, like I mean, everyone is always talking about everything all the time.
I know.
So it's
maybe he's got family in Edmonton and he wanted to move back. Who knows? Like there are a million reasons this could happen.
Yeah.
But the EA management also has to be amenable to the idea.
Right.
Here's what happened. He was so mad about what they did with the Mass Effect that he decided he wanted to go back in and destroy BioWare from the inside.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is that he was the most public face of the Mass Effect 3 fiasco.
Yeah. I mean, it's he's got like the man's got some bodies on him himself.
Yeah, his record is not clean as far as the BioWare fandom is concerned.
For sure. So it's but also, BioWare is bigger than Mass Effect or needs to be.
Yeah.
And the people, especially in a GM-like role, need to be about more than Mass Effect, obviously. They need to be thinking about Dragon Age, they need to be thinking about Anthem.
And he was there through all their biggest stuff, like KOTOR and all that.
And so he understands the culture of that place before, when the doctors were still there and what that meant and that sort of stuff. So, if anything, he could be kind of a tie to that legacy that that helps kind of, if it helps the internal culture and stuff like that. Or maybe he's a poison to it. I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. My gut reaction is this makes me feel better about the future of BioWare.
I think I'm with you on that. It's hard to kind of pin that sort of stuff on one person ever, but
I mean, if for no other reason than he's directed my favorite games that they've done, and he was there for like all of their most popular stuff.
Yeah,
that's reason enough.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, there is a lot to like with that announcement. At least there's people out there thinking about the future of that
Has
studio.
this really happened before with major studios? Like such a high-profile person leaving and then coming back?
Rod Ferguson left to go work on BioShock Infinite. He left the Gears team at Epic and then ended up going back to what became the new Gears team at the Coalition to run that. So there's that, which is a little different, but pretty similar. Trying to think of other cases.
Yeah, nothing else comes to mind.
Yeah. But stuff like that, not entirely out of the question for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's a wild announcement.
Yeah.
And that just happened like minutes ago.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I heard about one guy working at a gaming publication.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That was like let go for some reason. He came back in some shape or form. I don't remember. But
Sounds like garbage to me.
Yeah,
that would
that stuff
never
happens. I think. I don't know.
That would never
Hey, is
happen.
he talking about me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Remember the Atari box? They showed the Atari box. I think I now have less of an idea of what the Atari box is than I did before I saw it.
Atari's been teasing hardware for like what, a couple of months now.
Yeah. There was some weird teaser trailer.
What is it?
It was like
I don't know.
Atari's getting back into the hardware market, and then this week they were like, "And here's what it looks like."
Like Ataribox.com.
Oh, so they just literally showed
Yeah, no,
the box.
they literally showed what device. They showed it yesterday.
They're calling it the Atari box.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, they've had Ataribox.com up for a while, right? But, yeah, so they put out shots of it. There are two versions, one with like a red front panel and one with wood grain, of course.
Yes.
It's got...
It looks like a bumpy 2600 in a way.
It's got that
like
ridge.
They're trying
It's
to
got
evoke
the
that
black ridge
look.
kind of thing at the top.
But they've said nothing about its internals, really. It's got
no
HDMI
specs.
on it.
Yeah,
it's got
an HDMI port,
SD card port. I
SD
think.
card, 4 USB ports. 4? And an Ethernet port.
Yeah. So this thing
but
is...
no specs, and they also said current content and also classic content.
Right. And then also not in their press release, but in what they said to investors, they're crowdfunding it.
Yeah, I tried to follow up on that, and I couldn't quite nail
From
down
the
what
sounds
that
of it.
meant. 'Cause they haven't announced any specific crowdfunding campaigns.
But they've
they did
announced so
say-
little about the device
yeah,
itself. Like
yeah.
they're still trying to build hype for it. This is going to be another one of those like Ouya style, like, $100, $200, like some kind of low end device that will do some emulation stuff, and they'll try to put out some new software for it. But there's no way that this is going to be some high end device.
Yeah. There was no price, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. And it just, the whole thing, like, seems
Like they had to have done
Atari is not a company.
decent amount of market research on this. Like,
No,
to-
no, they did not.
I think that's probably why they're crowdfunding it. Didn't the line to investors say something to literally to the effect of like in order to mitigate risk, we are going to, like they don't seem 100% confident in their own thing.
Yeah, this just
Weird.
seems like another one of those type of devices that will kind of.
And that's all that it needs to be, really. I mean,
It doesn't.
I don't.
I guess
I don't
like
need another console to play Atari shit. You know.
I mean, I
Right.
would say the same thing about a tiny NES, but that's
I
just-
do
that's just
say
me.
the same thing about the tiny NES, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, like this is becoming a thing now, right? Like, I mean, we've got a couple of emails about it, but like, there's also some company is genning up a mini Sega Genesis now.
Oh, I mean, companies have
this
been
is-
like the
I mean, I know
At
it's-
Games company has been
Yeah.
doing those for a long time. This new Genesis they have coming out in the fall is like has a cartridge port on it, which is cool.
Yeah. But like the NES Classic kind of like changed the playbook.
It made everyone
that
realize
stuff.
that those flashback consoles and all that other stuff, like if marketed right on the heels of the NES Classic, could make more money than they were making before.
Totally.
Like that just seems like it's something that was already happening. Nintendo tapped into it in a more popular way, and now it is continuing to happen.
Yeah.
And the stakes are a little bit higher because people are hoping that they can kind of chip off some of that excitement that people had for Nintendo's shit.
Sure.
Like I got press releases from At Games like the day that stuff was getting announced. Like, hey, we're the retro call. We've got this. We've got a new 2600. Like so. On top of that, this Ataribox is happening, but that company is still making those flashback 2600s, and they're making the Genesis, and they're all this other stuff. So like it's continuing at pace. Like this thing is just a different, weirder thing that will probably be silly. And Atari is a company that seems to exist to license its logos and names out to things and eventually sell off its IP.
The Atari logo on this thing glows.
Yeah,
Lights up.
All right, that's cool.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
I
but
think
do
it
I have-
looks.
is there an
I think
app
it looks
I can
nice.
use to change the color that it glows on my
I
phone?
hope so.
Hopefully,
I
yeah.
hope so. Like apparently, like the LEDs glow through the wood paneling, which I feel like is kind of a good retro future little touch. I don't know. It looks kind of nice, even though it's probably going to be dumb.
Yeah, I just don't really see
Video game hardware.
Yeah, I don't see what need that they would be hoping to fill. And I think the idea of them like reaching out, like having a link on their site that's like, if you're a developer and you want to make stuff for this, contact us. It's like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe we're way off base. But
They gave significant details about this product, and I think we walked away with more questions than we had going in. So that doesn't exactly help. But
But I think just when
We'll
you look
find
at
out.
when you look at what Atari is these days and like what they would theoretically be capable of,
Yeah.
if they're crowdfunding it, the level at which they would do it, if you look at kind of where the price point for other nostalgia-driven products is in the marketplace and what they're capable of, like this is probably some Ouya Raspberry Pi style situation. Of
Very,
like,
very possibly. You'll
probably be able to play 8-bit Nintendo games on it too if you really want to. Like, you know, if it's open enough.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't it be?
I wonder what the controllers look like for that thing.
It looks like whatever you plug into those USB ports.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Or Bluetooth, probably. It looks like a fucking PS4 controller because you're Bluetoothing a PS4 controller to it.
Yeah. They do say, we're not teasing you intentionally. We want to get this right, so we've opted to share things step by step as we bring this to life.
Well, we'll see.
And listen closely to the Atari community feedback as we do so.
The Atari community...
I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah. Like if you... I don't know. Let's go to Atari Age and see what they say about this thing, because it's probably like, fuck this.
Sure.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I would believe that.
Would be their reaction.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out more
I'm
soon.
gonna dig my Atari 800 out. Let's get real.
The Wii U got its first system update in like a year and a half yesterday. It's version 5.5.2.
Very exciting.
Stop you from being able to turn it on.
The official, no, but I bet it stops you from doing whatever illicit shit people are getting up to with the Wii U out there.
People have been getting up to some business with the Wii U.
Yes, that was the first response I saw to this update was people going, that my Wii U better not have fucking auto updated.
That is
and stuff like that.
That is just because there was a 3DS system update recently too.
Yeah. I mean, the official like update notes are further improvements to overall system stability and other minor adjustments have been made to enhance the user experience.
Those are those Nintendo patch notes that I know and love.
That's right.
Booyah.
It reminds me of when they would do patches for Smash 4, right? And they'd do like balance changes, but they literally didn't say what they did in any of them. They were just like, we changed the characters, and so people had to go into like training mode with a new version and an old version next to each other and like do all the same moves and be like, okay, they reduced, this hit does 2% less. Why? People want to know what you changed.
A game where when you're supporting it, like I get on the system level why they don't get granular, because a lot of the stuff they're changing is meant to block certain exploits and stuff like that, security-wise. But yeah, if you're patching a game and you're making balance changes, put them out.
Yeah.
Like that's just like community management, like you know, respect your community 101.
People get so excited for patch notes.
Yeah.
Make it a deal. Like we'd be like, hey, look, we got this.
So here's the real reason I bring this up. This is all courtesy of like NeoGaf and it's floating around on Twitter.
I played my Wii U just 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So
What did you play?
Super Mario Maker.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a good game.
I have potentially bad news for you. Like I said, this grain of salt, this is coming out of Twitter and GAF and such, but people have been data mining this new firmware, and they found a new text string in there that reads as follows. The Miiverse service has ended. Miiverse and any software features that make use of Miiverse are now unavailable.
Yeah.
Have you seen this going around? Yeah, so like
no, but that's not surprising.
It's gotten picked up in the Nintendo community on fan sites and stuff. Like this Twitter user Shiny Quagsire is the person who tweeted this out. People seem to trust this person's, data dumping capabilities.
I mean, people have been dumping stuff out of the Wii U for a while.
Yeah, like it seems legit.
And
Nintendo's been dumping things out on the Wii U for a while.
boom.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. And then people have actually started ripping models and stuff out of Switch games recently, which is fascinating.
That's crazy. But so I mean, like there doesn't seem like there's any reason to doubt that text is actually in this new firmware.
Yeah. No,
What? Why?
Because those are servers they have to keep running.
Yeah,
if no one's using them,
I
no one's using them,
I know the actual reason, but like it seems like so much of the functionality of the best Wii U games is sort of tied up in Miiverse.
Well,
Splatoon and Mario Maker in particular, just like
the Mario Maker like Miiverse pop-ups in game are neat. It's not the core of that game.
Yeah, sure.
If those were to go away, like honestly, I forgot that they were there until you just mentioned. I was like, oh right, of course, yeah. So yeah, commenting on levels is fun in that game. So when that does go away, and it will, that'll be a bummer.
It was just a fun, goofy thing across the system, like.
Yeah, like barely ever used it.
Yes, but it was...
I did like my cool Funky Barn drawing that I posted to the Funky Barn community after I played Funky Barn.
Who could forget Burn With Me?
Oh yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of
some stuff,
and that
some
shitty
bangers
that
came out of the
shitty
Miiverse.
Wario game is terrible.
Yeah.
But that one thing with the drawings and stuff, is fun.
Yes, it would be a shame if all that goes away.
Yeah.
But it might go away.
There's a level in Smash Bros. For the Wii U where it's the Miiverse stage, and drawings, after you win a match with any character, you can draw something of draw your character winning or whatever, and it would pop up drawings of the 2 characters or 4 characters fighting in the background that people have made.
Like in the middle of the fight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That'll
be a shame.
That's a shame.
Maybe they end up keeping that. There's always a world where they remove it from the system level, go in and post, but they keep enough of it up for the in-game functionality.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or they keep the data there and just stop allowing new submissions.
Yeah.
There is a way for them to maybe keep some of that stuff working.
If only they had continued some of the good ideas from the Wii U on the Switch, such as the Miiverse. Then it wouldn't.
But
Come on.
the Miiverse is not a great idea.
I mean, but there's nothing. There's nothing to replace it with.
What are you even going to call it?
I don't know. I'm just saying that they could have done something.
Yeah. I mean, they could call it the Miiverse because the 3DS has it too.
There is no successor to that stuff on the Switch, which is just kind of a bummer.
I was saving loadouts to a Splatoon amiibo over the weekend because I'm a baller, and I had to create a Mii on the Switch, and I felt terrible. My goal was to never fucking see or deal with a Mii ever again. But in order to do that, you had to create a Mii and give the amiibo a nickname and all this other dumb. I nicknamed my amiibo Amiibo.
Nice.
Why did they call it the Miiverse and not the Miiverse? Because then they'd have the Miiverse and the Universe, and it's just a play off of each other. But instead of the Universe, it's the Miiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do that? Do you guys know?
Because they really quadrupled down on the Wii name for Mii's, and then again for the Wii U, and then again for the Miiverse, and then for Amiibo. Because someone sucks somewhere in some point in the chain.
That's the answer. Always.
Should have done better.
Farewell, Miiverse.
Hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
This is not them announcing it's going away.
That's not actually happening.
This is them prepping for
that system
the eventuality.
In there.
Yeah.
If and when they decide to switch it off. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out next year.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Show of hands. It's got Toy Story in it.
Yeah. Hey.
Tetsuya Nomura blames Unreal Engine 4.
Really cool fucking level.
And Square Enix management for the fact that it's still not out.
Yeah.
Is there a good HD version of Kingdom Hearts 1?
I don't know.
Dude, I think there's 8 of them.
I don't know.
I think there are HD remasters of that game.
I said good.
It's still Kingdom Hearts.
It's Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know if I can.
I never played a Kingdom Hearts. I might want to get ready for 3.
There are ways to play that game out there
Okay.
in high definition, if you are so inclined.
They put something out on PS4, didn't they?
I think so. Maybe I don't. Yeah. Anyway,
Nort. Xenohort.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Duck.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yes. Keyblade. That's what I got for you. They're saying it's coming out next year now.
Strife.
2018 supposedly is when it's coming out.
Great.
And yeah, like I said, he's blaming decisions made by management and a change of engine for the reason that's not out.
Makes sense.
Sure.
And not, no mention
He
whatsoever.
spun the video game delays wheel.
No mention. Well, yeah, but no mention whatsoever of the
He
last.
got the lucky space.
of the last 2 to 3 games that he has directed that also took 8 to 10 years to come out.
Hey, he's a master of his craft.
Obviously. The only other thing I got is that the folks at Vicarious Visions have finally responded to this Crash Bandicoot jumping controversy.
Finally, we get to the bottom of this.
It was too hard, right?
Yeah. So the game is noticeably harder and less forgiving on jump timing than the original games were.
I don't know. When I played at E3, I made it through the levels just fine. So I think these people should get good.
Yeah.
But
I would love it if that's the actual official response. It's you should probably get better at games.
Dude, that is literally their response.
Fantastic.
I could read you a bunch of quotes, but they all amount to you should get good.
Are the quotes admitting that it's at least different?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they say why? That's what I want to know.
Not so much why. Our game engine features a different collision system than the original game, and combined with the addition of physics, certain jumps require more precision than the originals. Much like the handling, we iterated on collision and physics throughout development to make it fair to all players and as faithful to the original games as possible. Like, that doesn't make sense at all.
And maybe
After
maybe
you
they
just
were
said-
maybe they were way further away though. And maybe
Yeah.
this is as close as they could get it.
This is the good stuff.
They couldn't figure out how to make crash jump like you used to.
This is the good stuff. An increased precision is now required in the first game, which makes the gameplay experience different. Particularly if you are a new player, you may want to start with the second and third games first, and then come back to Crash Bandicoot after you've had more practice.
The story makes more sense that way too.
Yeah.
For those of you who played the originals and acquired a fair amount of muscle memory, relearning the handling in our game may present an additional challenge you weren't expecting, but we're sure you're up to the task.
That's good. That's a good thing.
We don't have the money to fix this.
Yeah.
And so
Like, it got made like it got made, and that's all you're going to get, is what they're saying.
sure, whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was amusing. If you were,
That's unfortunate that I don't know.
yeah, because people don't seem happy about it. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I bring this up. Like the
Yeah.
forum threads
These
I've read.
remasters and remakes should be like faithful
faithful
to
as
the
possible.
feel.
Yeah.
If they really re-released Super Mario World and I started trying to make my jumps and the jumps didn't feel right, I'd be mad.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Why you might approach this and go, what the fuck?
Like the one time I dipped into a thread about this game like a week after it came out to see what the pulse was. That's kind of all anybody was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Was-
it
was-
seems like the two things were A, it sold better than you would have ever expected. B, everyone is pissed.
Yeah. So don't hold out for any updates on that stuff.
Okay.
There you go. You guys want to read some emails?
Oh yeah,
More than
I totally.
How about some emails?
I'm gonna get you some emails.
I've brought some emails.
Yeah.
Your listening and responding pleasure.
www.emails.com.
That's exactly where you send the emails. That's bombcast@chinaBomb.com. Let's see. The first email was about Skullmania, but we kind of talked about Skullmania already.
We can continue. I'm
spins
fine
around.
with that. He's got a scarf and shit. He looks
he
like
goes,
he's got a skeleton
"Whoa,
suit.
It's a me.
Skull kick."
Skullmania.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm a man.
He
Is that
rides
what
on
the
that
email
shitty
said?
dinosaur.
Somebody named Lex sent in an email very enthusiastic about Skullmania.
Good.
So apparently it says he was a crazy car salesman.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lex Friedman.
He wants to know if Skullmania will have science applied to him at some point.
You don't apply science to characters. You apply
That's true.
science to games.
That's true. That's fair.
But if he is the game, then well, we'll see. We'll see.
When he gets his single player spin-off.
They tear the mask off and it's Triple H under there. I'm going to be very shocked.
What if it's Ryu?
That'd be great.
This whole time.
Like no Capcom affiliation at all in the game, and then you beat the game with Skullmania, and it goes hee hee.
He just pulls up a scarf to be a headband.
Yeah. It just ties in.
His ending is him punching a waterfall for a while, and then fucking
I can't
mask falls off, and you're like, oh.
can't envision it because Ryu is incapable of smiling.
If he's just a
try
big
to
like
picture-
Sentai fan.
Oh, he smiles when he sees like Sakura fight well. He's like giving
okay,
him that.
fine. It just seems so serious all the time.
Yeah.
You should really lighten up.
Brian from Long Island wrote in about that Sega Classic. Did that just get announced, or is it just getting detailed? I'm not
I think
clear on who these people are.
I think it got announced around E3.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit before.
He says it looks like it boosts. He says boosts. It looks like it boasts, I believe he meant, an impressive 85 games. But looking at the list, it's padded with garbage like Warehouse Keeper,
Yep.
Jack's P, and the enigmatic Fish Tank Live.
Ooh,
I want to know what Fish Tank Live is about.
Jack's P.
Could it be Fish Tank Live?
Maybe.
Could be.
I don't know.
Live, damn you.
Warehouse
So what is this?
Warehouse Keeper.
It's
This
a
is the-
Genesis with built-in games.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me open the link he sent. What's the name of the company putting this out?
Is it at games?
My browser's taking forever to load.
I think they do all those things.
Uh,
All those flashback
believe-
consoles
wow,
are
why is
usually
this
them.
So hard to find. At Games, yes, that is correct.
Good.
Let's see. Some of the other stuff in this: Sonic and Knuckles, Mortal Kombat 2 and 3,
Mm-hmm.
Phantasy Star 2, Comics Zone.
Oh, so it's padded with more bullshit.
Hey.
Damn it.
Hey.
No, Mortal Kombat's fine.
I should probably pull up the full list
Settle down.
in this PDF.
But he said Sonic.
Let's see what else is in here.
What you talking about?
Wow.
Fantasy Star.
4 Alex
Comic
Kidd
Zone.
games.
Never.
Which 4?
Well, Comic Zone sucks.
High Tech
You
World.
suck.
That's not a Genesis game.
Okay. Miracle World.
Also not a Genesis
Yeah,
game.
what the hell?
The Lost Stars.
Also not a Genesis game.
Enchanted Castle. I think that's the one
That's the
Genesis,
Genesis game, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like I said, 85 games. Altered Beast is on here.
Does it have Mean Bean Machine?
Columns, yes.
Okay.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Does
is
it
here.
have Spinball?
Probably, yes, it does.
All right, I'm sold.
Like every Sonic game ever made, apparently. It's got
I only need those two.
it's got Shadow Dancer and Shinobi 3.
All right.
Fantasy Zone, Fatal Labyrinth,
I don't think Fantasy Zone was a Genesis game.
all 3 golden axes. eSWAT.
eSWAT's a good game.
You turn into that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wanted to know what was up with all the weird shovelware on there, but
Just
I don't
padding
know.
it out,
They
man.
could say they have 85 games
Yeah,
instead of
that's,
like
you know.
Yes.
35, because then at that point you're like, well, there's 35 on this or 25 on the Super Nintendo one. Why
Right.
do I need this Genesis one?
Some of those could just be like weird Brazilian hack jobs or something, like weird pirate carts that they licensed or stole or something, some multi-cart thing.
Yeah.
I feel like most like compilations, multi-cart things, you always end up with a few things on it that are just like weird ass things.
Even like the official licensed like flashback ones.
Yeah,
That
maybe,
will have some
maybe
bootleg
less
stuff.
so on those.
Okay.
So I don't know what some of that stuff is. I'll have to look for myself and see. But that's interesting that there seems to be some Master System games on there.
Yeah.
No.
Obviously they can probably put whatever they want. I mean, I want to say that some of the Master System hardware was already in every Genesis anyway. So
Yeah.
maybe some of that stuff is
Just need a power converter.
yeah. There's bolt power base converter onto
Yeah,
it, and
that's right.
and you're good to go. I wonder how the sound emulation will be. That seems to be the
Is that tough?
sometimes. Though I mean, multiple Genesis models sound different from one another.
What?
Because they'll use like a different version of the chip or like a worse the amp
Like
whatever
the DAC or
audio
whatever?
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
the DAC is worse.
Huh. That I could see, but
and
like, are you talking actually like the actual synth is different?
I think yeah,
That's
like
fucking
it's a
weird.
little bit different.
That's
The
super
volume will be
weird.
strange, or like it'll like one version's a little bit more distorted than the
Huh.
other because the DAC or whatever it is.
So the bass is funkier.
Yeah,
On
a
certain
little
Genesis
bit.
models.
But people tend to prefer the original launch Genesis.
Yeah.
And the Genesis 2 kind of sounds a little worse, and the 3 I think maybe even sounds even worse than that.
That's super weird.
And then they've been putting out those iOS games. Like I received an update from someone on the internet this morning that said that they patched those mobile Sega games. They put like Phantasy Star 2 for iOS and some of that other stuff.
Yeah.
Like that the audio was all fucked up. The report I got was that they patched it and now the sound is even worse.
Nice.
So
Good stuff.
Way to go, Sega.
Yep.
Really caring about the quality on your ad-supported Genesis game initiative.
Ads. Ugh. I don't want ads.
You can buy out of the ads.
Okay.
It's free with
Okay.
ads, or you give them $3 or whatever. And it's like that end of it seems reasonable. It's the part where they seem like bad versions of those games.
Or they got to do Fantasy Star like that.
They don't do Fantasy Star, period.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's fair.
what are you gonna do?
Sure. Here's some emails about PUBG.
Is that what you're, is that?
That's what everybody I know calls it.
I know.
What do you got?
Battlegrounds.
Okay, that works.
It's a real word.
Like
and
a MOBA
PUBG
thing, like-
sounds too awkward. It's a
Nah.
2-syllable acronym that doesn't like
What if it was PUBG?
PUBG.
You like that better?
No,
Does that work?
maybe
All right.
just say Battlegrounds. Everyone knows what you mean.
Except when they hear Battlefront and they go, "You mean the Star Wars game?"
Yeah. Or Battlefield.
Nobody's talking about those games.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Alex from Dallas. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds
Hey,
I've heard of that game.
Okay.
on my lonesome and
Is
finally
he playing a
convinced.
stormtrooper or was he?
No, he's Jar Jar.
Oh, awesome.
I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds on my lonesome and finally convinced some friends to take the $30 plunge. We played for a night, got second on duos once, and had a blast. We were going to play again, but when my friend booted up, he had been banned. We have no clue why. No one did anything in any of the games we played out of the ordinary, and he doesn't have any cheating software installed. The only weirdness he has is that he's usually running a VPN. Have you guys heard of this? And if so, any clue how to resolve it? It's probably the most fun I've had in a game in a long time, and I just want to play with my buddy.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Did he give a reason for the ban? Just that he was
No,
banned?
it sounds
huh?
like you just can't get in. I don't know. All I've heard is that they are pretty ban happy about that game.
Yeah.
Like they are pretty strict about. Actually, there's some drama going on right now. They just banned like the top streamer on Twitch I don't know.
For team killing, I think is what it was.
I think there's more to it than that. He was also being a dick on Twitter and some other stuff. I'm not sure. Also, he plays some character. This is not my area of expertise. I don't know what's up with this guy, but apparently he plays a heel of sorts.
Fun.
But they appear to not be having it. And that's basically the number one streamer of this game on Twitch currently can't play the game. They seem pretty hardcore about banning people, but I couldn't tell you why.
I want to say good, but sometimes if they've got automated stuff that people are gonna get.
That's like every time Valve rolls out their VAC bans, there's always a handful of people who get like false positive in there.
But you also never know if they're just lying.
True.
Like that's unless it happens to someone you know and actually trust. Like, cause maybe even your friend. How well do you know your friend really?
It's true.
Maybe he's been cheating.
Maybe think about the company you keep.
That's why you got to get a sound card that's something that they can't track and it provides a map.
For now. Did I see that they just banned like 40,000 Steam accounts or something?
Yeah, they did a huge rollout.
Yeah.
Like right the day after the sale ended. Yeah.
Really stick the knife in.
Oh,
thanks for the money. Peace out.
Yep. Do you guys want to talk about zeroing distance? I'm leaving it up. I'm leaving it up to you.
I don't know what that is.
Would you like to know?
Yes.
Austin from Austin writes in.
Nice.
He says, Texas up.
Whoa.
He also says,
Hook 'em.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's what they do.
Shaka.
I overheard you guys talking about zeroing distance in Battlegrounds on Monday.
Overheard us like we were out on was he in town? Was he?
Yeah, he stopped by.
Oh man.
This is actually a relatively simple system to use once you figure it out. The tiniest squares on the map grid, when you zoom in, each represent 100 meters. From this point, you just need to find points of reference. Example, a dude is shooting at you from a distant house. All the houses are marked on the map. Find some quick cover, pop open your map, and figure out where that house is in relation to you, and mentally count the squares between you and it.
Love to mentally count.
Multiply this by 100. Use page up and page down to switch to the closest zero distance available, and voila, you no longer have to accommodate for bullet drop. Just aim and click. This actually totally demystifies the sniping experience in that game.
I heard, I think about a week ago that the grid spaces on the map were 100 meters and that you could use that to kind of dial it in.
But also,
I've yet to do it.
I've never put it into practice.
Yeah,
also,
I just started holding shift while I shoot to hold my breath.
Step
that's
one.
where I am.
For whatever reason, all the times that I have asked, what is the zeroing distance stuff about? Nobody has ever just said it's bullet drop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's always that's just it's sighting in the scope. For different ranges.
Yeah,
cool.
So that definitely clarifies that stuff.
Can't wait to win 100 chicken dinners.
That's right.
Oh yes,
you're gonna eat for free from now on.
Ben's eat free.
Sweet.
Let's see. We already talked about the first versus third person stuff. Daniel from Los Angeles. I watched your Dota video yesterday. Question: are the same people in charge of naming both Dota 2 professional teams and weed strains?
Probably.
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
Planet Dog.
Got a little of that Fnatic Kush.
Yeah.
Planet Dog. What? Is that really a team?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
We were just looking at Planet Dog players in that video.
I forgot about what? That's not a real thing.
They actually are just the last part of it is coming in, and it's like the prediction stuff. So we totally missed out. We'll have to just do another few videos to really get into the
weekly feature,
the prediction software, and figuring out number of Roshan kills, average first blood, most hero pick, most hero banned.
You like stats?
Jeff.
What? No, sorry, I went away there for a little bit. What were you talking about?
I don't know.
Weed.
Zeroing in scopes. Weed.
Bull drop. MVP
My
Phoenix.
custom Battlegrounds mode where there's a weed field and then 50 players have to protect it and then 50 players have to get the weed.
What if you could set it on fire?
That's right, and nobody
vision
wins.
Gets all crazy.
Skrillex is played.
Yep. This is anonymous. You want to talk about Twitter followers again?
Sure.
I just recently quit my job in digital marketing after 10 years of experience because it was getting too disheartening and gross to deal with.
Same. Except the 10-year part.
I won't go into all the shady stuff that happens where marketing and video games overlap, but I do have some insight in the realm of social media, specifically Twitter.
I love it. Twitter.
Yes, buying followers or Twitter bots is still very common. In fact, it's a borderline accepted industry practice. Time and time again, my agency would lose clients to tiny social media shops that would promise 100,000 Twitter followers in 1 month for a couple $1,000s. In reality, these agencies were simply buying Twitter followers for a few cents each from bot farms, inflating numbers artificially. The sad truth is that a shocking amount of executives and CEOs in multi-million-dollar companies know absolutely nothing about social media.
That's not shocking
marketing,
at all. That's
or speaking to actual human beings.
again not a shock.
And they judge the success of a marketing campaign by how big the numbers got and how cheaply it was done.
That is exactly yes.
That means that a lot of digital marketers working for these companies only get to keep their jobs if they can deliver more Twitter followers for less money. Whether or not their Twitter profile is actually selling any product doesn't matter. The execs just want to see the follower number go up.
No, totally. Yeah. Like that's where the bottom drops out someday is when people start asking, "Hey, how much money? How many sales did we turn these Twitter followers into? How much website traffic did we get out of these Twitter followers? Hey, we just spent X number of dollars on Facebook. How many people came through the door as a result?" And when the answer is super low, they go, "Oh, well, none of this works," and they shut it all down.
Yep. But nobody has done this, has performed that last step.
Yeah. When people connect all the dots on this thing, it's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
But until then,
there are legitimate companies that legitimately grow rapid Twitter followers through well-timed community engagement and
sweet fucking
good
memes.
content and memes.
But again, there is an A to B to C of that. Did all of this investment actually turn into more business?
Right.
He concludes. When my own agency, once a respected place for strategic marketing that made consumers happy instead of exploiting them, started considering buying followers to shore up our numbers, I knew it was time to walk away. And for the record, no one in the marketing industry really takes social media seriously anymore. Yeah. It's just a very profitable and cheap service to upsell to clients or to round out a pitch deck. Twitter may be a great place for news, and farmers in the Midwest absolutely live or die by it, but for the average Joe, it doesn't have much to offer.
I feel like, we're like 2/3 or so of the way through the process, or through the funnel of people learning that it is all, that none of it is actually leading to anything. Yeah. And when that message finally works its way up to the executives, like I said, you're going to see a dramatic shift in that sort of stuff. I've definitely heard some game publishers saying similar things about marketing spends on YouTube for like sponsored videos and stuff like that. That's not leading to sales the way that they had hoped.
My question, like, since YouTube blew up, was like, what is the actual purchasing power of the broad YouTube audience? You know, like how many of those people have the amount of disposable income?
Or even if just like, you're straight up paying people that are making a living on YouTube to make videos about your product, whether it's, a new eyeshadow or video game or whatever it is, like that stuff is exposing those products to an audience, but how much of that audience is then going on to, complete the purchase? Right. And can they track it? Can they go A to B to C on that stuff and connect the dots in a way to where we spent this much money, this person made this YouTube video, we got X number of pre-orders. And it's why so much stuff works on offer codes. It's why podcasts work on offer codes, is because it helps connect those dots in a way that people can see like, oh, actually, this stuff does work out.
It seems like when it comes to marketing spends and the results from that, they either like really want to know or they totally don't want to know.
Yeah, and that's the darker thing is when you get to these situations, and I've certainly walked down some fucking roads to find out the reality of a business seemingly against the will of the people we're trying to work with.
Right.
In some cases where they're just like, hey, you don't want to know. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I think I need to know. And
better left unsaid.
The best people are the ones who can make those numbers say anything that you want them to.
Yeah, they take the number.
KPIs, man.
Just like if you the right KPIs, you can fucking make those numbers sing. It doesn't matter, and everyone goes home, everyone eats. Man, that stuff. I feel like that. I would hope in some ways, like I would hope that like the stuff that is just kind of falsely pumping up numbers or kind of like this kind of business fakery type stuff, you want that to be weeded out. Like I want the people that are out there making like actual genuine good stuff to be able to succeed. Even in marketing, people that have like, honest, good, organic, real marketing programs that are like fucking based in reality, like they should be the ones succeeding too, not just the content creators and all that other stuff. Like it just.
But when it comes down to it, they don't have the money that the hardest thing to deal with as somebody who was just working a digital marketing job is now Facebook and Twitter have gotten so ruthless about how easily they can control who sees what you do unless you give them a bunch of money, like a bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, we have our Facebook page and it's got X number of likes, but then you look at the stuff we post on Facebook compared to the number of people that should be seeing it because they like it, and it's clear that their algorithm has changed multiple times.
And then you put like $5 behind something, and you just see like, oh, it exploded. Maybe you should put $5 behind everything, or $10.
So we have been spending money on Facebook lately for subscription stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of posting. So we've definitely seen some people saying like, "Hey, I see your face on Facebook a lot more," and I go like, "Yep, good." Because we've been putting some stuff out there to kind of just expose the subscription stuff to more people, and that's been fascinating to look at. That stuff's just. But also, like, we run our Facebook page in a, like you were talking about, maybe we have some stupid ideas for Facebook that I think we should actually follow through on, because that'd be really...
That's the thing. You can grow real communities still on social media. Like, you can still use them for good sometimes.
Yeah, and I think, like, that's,
it's just an uphill battle.
The other part of that is, like, like me personally, like, I feel less likely to want to spend time on Twitter. Like the last few years, like, that stuff has shifted in tone in such a dramatic way that it's just like, I don't have time to just, like... fucking people talking nonstop shit, and it's just this endless stream of negativity.
My main problem with Twitter is there's too many verified accounts on there. It's just like a way, like, who are you supposed to pay attention to? If everyone's verified, then nobody practically is verified, and
anyone with a verified account can unverify at any time. They just got to change their Twitter account name, and it automatically removes it. So
but they're too much cowardice to ever roll back on. It takes a lot of courage to not be verified, is what I'm kind of believing. What I've come to believe.
We've come to believe,
yes,
as a non-verified Twitter user.
That's not the important part.
You would know. You've got a lot of experience
and a lot of courage.
Not being verified.
That's very courageous.
It's the bravest thing I could do is not be verified.
That's so brave. I mean, I'm verified. I don't know what the fuck,
You've forgotten what it's like.
Yeah. I was verified back when it meant something. When you had to follow Twitter's verified profile. Ugh.
Question from JK. Mr. Show or the state, which was better at the time? Which has held up better, music licensing notwithstanding?
I think Mr. Show was better at the time. I think Mr. Show, some of it does not hold up as well. It's not that it was topical. They almost went out of their way to not be topical.
Yeah.
But it very much feels like it's of its era. I'd say the state probably is the exact same way.
I wasn't following them close enough at the time, but now I would probably give it to Mr. Show, just because I can pick out like the pre-taped Colin Show is my favorite sketch of television, like sketch TV of all time.
Yeah,
it's just and it's such like a small crew of people.
Every time you and I talk about Colin Show ideas, like that is always what is in my head. Is just like, we need to get this right, or it's going to turn into that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it should turn into that, though. Yeah. The state is definitely of its time also.
I think so. I haven't watched it really since it was new.
But also, like, both of them had their moments that were, like, totally removed from time.
Yeah.
Like, the pre-tape Colin Show is a good example. There's a lot of shit on the state that definitely still works, too.
And I mean, like they're obviously still capable. I know it's not a 1-to-1, but the new Wet Hot American Summer,
right.
Like the new season of that was funny.
Yeah. They're both really great. Both really great.
I continue to be shocked at how many like principal players of the state are just like out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I would have expected most of those people to fade back into obscurity after
doing it while they're in college. Like,
right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Let's see.
Like, they're still doing like Stella shows here and there, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They still do tour stuff.
But they're all awfully like directing and stuff like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Like creating shows.
David Wayne is
fucking
like
super jail.
Yeah.
That fucking hellscape of a program. God damn. What a nightmare.
Yasser from Toronto. Recently, a new vape shop has opened up near my house called League of Vapes. The shop advertises weekly vaping tournaments at their shop.
What?
I have no idea what a vape competition would consist of.
Yes,
What
you do.
What do you imagine takes place at these vaping tournaments?
I know what happens.
yeah,
I've watched them.
just like,
Would
get on
vaping
the internet.
be considered an esport?
Like we're not Google.
But I mean, it's tricks.
I bet
right?
it's different when you got a local scene. I bet.
Yeah, it's the
It's
sickest
like
cloud,
biggest cloud, coolest
the
cloud.
fucking hottest rip,
Yeah.
the sickest sub-ohm rig.
I'm sure there's one that's like do a cool flip and vape at the same time.
fucking vape on a trampoline.
Yeah. Do you think-
does
write your
anybody-
name in vapes.
Doesn't anybody just blow a vape ring anymore? Just keep it simple, classic,
If it's it's got to be like a perfect ring.
a perfect
though.
ring.
Got this vape ring for my Halo stunt that I do. It's this whole thing. Yeah.
League of Vapes.
League of Vapes is
a bad
awful
name.
There was an awful name that like I felt only slightly better about when he said that they did a lot of competition
Yes.
stuff. I'm like, okay, well,
Oh my god, people are part of the vape league there. Like they have a league.
But leaning into it.
There's dudes introducing themselves on first dates to women saying, "I'm part of a league of
No, they're
league
not.
of vapors."
No, they're not.
No, I guarantee you there are. Holy shit! Oh, vaping's not an esport though.
Do
No,
they have sponsors?
I mean it's an electronic
it's an
device.
e-cigarette.
Yeah, but it's not digital. It's not.
Oh, isn't it?
It's still very much an analog activity.
So is like touching a joystick if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
So you're saying VR is the only true?
That's right. The
esport?
only true esport
Yep.
is Echo Arena.
I like this question from Natalie. Why do characters in FMV games hate the player so much? I didn't have a console or PC that played CD-ROM games during FMV's heyday, but in hindsight, it seems like all the NPCs treat you with eye-rolling contempt at best, red-faced rage at worst. At first, I thought this was just a digital pictures thing, but it seems to be a hallmark of the genre. Did developers think that this contempt would encourage players to stick with the clunky gameplay and get good out of spite? Or was it just the ultimate example of 90s too?
I was gonna say, like, there's a real '90s, like, you know, that's probably part of
It's
it.
also way easier to ham it up if you're like being antagonistic.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's a good go-to.
like that. You kind of want to like all these actors are bad, right? So they're gonna like be very big and overstated.
Yeah.
And that plays better in a small window. You know, I bet we just spent more time thinking about it than they did at the time.
Sure. They just did what comes naturally.
But yeah, like
That's really funny though. Now that
Yeah.
they mentioned
She's-
that, it's
yeah,
just-
Like, I never
just-
really
I'm trying to
thought
think
about
of like
it
a
before,
positive like NPC in like an FMV game.
But also like that ended up being one of my favorite FMV things is the like them reacting to you not doing anything,
Yeah.
which some of those make your own music video games would do, where they would literally like try to like knock on the fucking TV, like, "Hey, you in there? You paying attention? What are you doing, man? We're playing a video game over here. Come on, man, shit." Why are you such a screw up? We're going to 6-1 Niner, and then it just but like halfway through Sewer Shark, that was the arc, right? Is they would start out hating you because you're the new guy, and then by the end of Sewer Shark, it's like,
you're all right,
hey, you're okay, kid.
Yep. Sewer Shark was the first thing I thought of when I read this email.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've gotten weirdly, and you don't see that many of them, but I've gotten weirdly into, or like I'm very pleasantly surprised every time somebody comes up with like one of these like current footage clips, but turned into 90s FMV.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cite any specific examples, but you know what I'm talking about.
Hardcore pornography.
Yes. That's exactly what I mean.
On the Sega CD.
Yes.
Cinepack technology.
There's an Alex Jones one out there that I'm thinking about.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like modern footage dressed up that like fits very believably.
yeah. I mean,
as a
he
90s
looks like the
CD-ROM game.
fucking guy from Sewer Shark, the mayor guy.
Yes.
Fucking.
Totally. There's like a 19-second clip out there that's just pitch perfect. Let's see. David from Portland, Maine.
What?
Oh, fuck.
That's on the East Coast.
That's
not the West
the other
Coast.
Portland. That's
Gotcha.
the one they made the TV show about.
Got you there.
Put a bird on it, Maine.
I was pricing out building a new PC gaming rig and was noticing how video cards are either extremely scarce in stock or overpriced. After doing some Google searches, I started to learn how these cryptocurrency miners
These motherfuckers
are buying up gaming video cards from mining rigs in bulk and creating this scarcity of stock and inflating video card prices.
You told me about this on Friday.
I'm not sure how long this has been going on, but I'm curious if it continues, if it will affect PC gaming at all or possibly help console sales. That is until hackers can figure out how to use consoles to mine cryptocurrency.
So I think the thing that is going to happen, and has started to happen, is that video card manufacturers are now making cards specifically for cryptocurrency mining.
Branded as such.
And hopefully that will result in those people going that way, and then maybe the video card stock will be a little bit easier to come by.
Do you know if they're different cards in any way?
I want to say that there are differences. They can cut some corners if they're not trying to output video that maybe would make them more efficient.
I see.
On the power front as well, because that's the big thing is like, yeah, you're going to go buy this expensive video card and then immediately burn it out mining how many Bitcoins?
Well, not just burning out the card, but I've always read that like the money you spend on electricity running those things at full capacity all the time, like more than offsets the money you're making.
It's like the best way to run a fucking mining op is the same way you ran an illegal weed op, is you stole power too. You wired into someone else's grid so that your power wasn't cycling up in 12-hour increments. People are like, this guy's running grow lights because for 12 hours a day his power's going crazy, and for 12 hours a day it's nothing. So you steal someone else's power. Golden.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So
there is potentially going to be a selling point for the people that want crypto cards, like they'll be cheaper or something like that.
That was my understanding of it. I didn't look too deeply into it, but maybe that'll alleviate it. Or I guess, like I was just reading this morning, that the price had started to crash again for a lot of different cryptocurrencies. So maybe that will scare people off. Because
it was a new one. I forget the name of it. It was not Bitcoin.
Ethereum,
dog coin.
Sure, that one.
Dog bucks.
I used to work next to a print shop, and on the door it said, "We accept cash, Visa, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin." And I was like, "This is just this is just a printer. This is just a guy's business," and he had to write that and put it on his door because
luckily he
asked.
runs a printing business because he can just print it out. No one asked. He's into that shit, and he's supporting the cause.
Yeah. He was like this old dude who I don't think.
He's definitely the most.
He's like a money off the grid. Like, let's fucking go.
Keeps his Bitcoins in mayonnaise jars.
Yeah. I keep my cryptocurrency in my crypto mattress. There, fucking
under my second life.
I'm gonna start my fucking I'm gonna launch it's cryptomattress.com.
We're gonna start a crypto bank.
We're gonna start a fucking crypto bank.
Oh man!
And then we're gonna manipulate the prices. We're gonna run the blockchain, and we're gonna be fucking billionaires.
Jeff, no.
Cut this out. Cut this out of the show.
Just the part about how we're gonna cheat everyone out of their money.
Yeah,
the first part's good.
Leave that. Damn it.
Oh man.
Legitimatebusiness.com.
Yes. That's what we're running.
It's just me, or has real life become a bad parody of
Second Life?
Yeah, I don't know.
We did it. We lived in interesting times.
Great.
Congratulations.
It was great. Steven.
That's me.
After last week's discussion about TNA, something triggered in my brain, and I wanted to make everyone, especially Jeff, aware of something.
Great, yeah.
Professional wrestler Jeff Jarrett had a small role as the youth pastor in Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers.
Best thing he's ever done.
You might remember him wearing a tap-out shirt telling college kids about the swagger of Jesus.
Yep.
Consider that. This also came to mind because the twins that James Franco's alien hangs out with are featured in Baby Driver.
Oh, those fucking guys are in that fucking... Oh,
apparently.
Apparently. Those guys are still alive, huh?
Yeah. For now.
Do you think they're friends with the albino Matrix twins?
Yeah, they hang out. They brunch a lot. Yes, Jeff Jarrett is in Spring Breakers, which is a crazy fucking cameo. And also, yes.
It's so fitting, though, yeah. That's real good.
Wrestling has stayed bad, by the way. It took a new worse turn.
Okay, good.
What happened? Real quick.
It's good to know that some things are reliable in this world.
All right, real quick. So Kurt Angle, former Olympic hero,
he was going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he went in the Hall of Fame and he became the storyline general manager of Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
And he has been the on-camera authority figure for that show for since he went into the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
In April. They've had these backstage little vignettes with him on the phone, very concerned, like, this could ruin me if this gets out. What are we going to do? And like weeks of speculation of what's going on, implying that there's like an affair or some kind of thing. And then last night they revealed it, and and it's just like he's got a son, and his son happens to be a WWE wrestler, and we're gonna bring him out right now. Is this guy? And they brought him out and hugged, and it was like this. Yes, it was The Rock. Yeah. And it was this incredible nothing moment. Like going into it, you're like, there's no way this could ever be like actually genuinely good. But if they do it bad in the right way, it could be amazing.
Sure.
And instead, it was just like weeks and weeks of...
He's actually a Russian agent or something.
Yeah, weeks and weeks of speculation leading up to just like this kind of wet fart of a moment. And you're just like, oh, great. So they're going to try and make this guy a bigger star by claiming he's the son of this other guy. And that's not going to work.
Who was it, by the way?
Jason Jordan, one of the members of American Alpha.
He's a fantastic wrestler, actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. Okay. And now he is on Raw. His tag team partner is on SmackDown, so they split up that tag team, I guess. Maybe they get them back together somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those nothing moments in wrestling where you're just like, how many hours did writers sit in a room concocting this bullshit? And you want to either think that they spent like months of time on it, or that we just spent more time talking about it than they ever spent time thinking about it. That they're just like making it up as they go along. Wrestling's American wrestling.
Yeah, WWE stuff is
WWE and the GFW stuff sounds.
I like that you have to like specify it now, like with football versus American football.
Right. Yes. Meanwhile, the G1 Climax getting underway. I'm sure it's fantastic.
Speaking of wrestling, here's another email.
Great.
Dan from Knoxville.
Great.
I live in Knox County, Tennessee.
Okay. Yep.
Where Glenn Jacobs, better known as Kane of WWE fame, is currently campaigning for mayor.
Yep.
What?
As someone who's never watched any wrestling, I was wondering if you guys could let me know what about Kane would make him a good political leader.
Well, he's a hardcore libertarian.
He's a large man.
He's a large man. Okay. He's very tall. He is the Undertaker's brother.
Like for real?
No.
Okay.
Was he once a dentist?
He was once a dentist.
For real?
He can go like this and make fire shoot out of ring posts at will.
For real?
Yes, for real.
Yeah, that one's real.
And he's got a pretty good choke slam.
All right, that's everything you want in a mayor.
I guess. Yeah.
In 2017.
Yeah, I was going to say, except for maybe the one thing. But yeah, well, who knows? Maybe you do.
All right, well, there you go. 2 more emails.
Also, he was horribly burned in a fire, and that's why he hated The Undertaker. Also, then they unmasked him, and no, he didn't. I forget what the storyline reason was for why he was not a burn victim.
He's got that Wolverine.
He was a lot prettier before.
Yeah.
He's not a looker now.
No. Nick from Los Angeles with an email entitled, Am I a Scumbag?
Yes.
You
have to ask.
Yes. You are in Los Angeles. Hey, duders, you guys seem to know a thing or two about life, so I thought I'd ask this question to you. The other day, I was driving around town and found a CRT on the side of the road. It was in working condition and had been sitting there all week, so I took it.
Yeah?
Did I steal some guy's TV, or is it being on the side of the road a universal signal of, please take this shit?
Not only did you waited multiple days to take it, and it still sat there. Like, no, that's
above and beyond.
Yeah, you are cleaning up the streets. And I look forward to you leaving it on a street corner yourself someday when you realize that it takes up too much space.
That's really how it works in like San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
like, people just leave garbage.
I would say that maybe the person who left their shit out on the street is maybe the scumbag in this situation. But
yes,
who can say?
I tried it for the first time a few months ago. We had a couple of like old IKEA end tables, like they were in good shape, but they're IKEA, whatever. And like we was like, I don't want to Craigslist these. What happens if we just put them on the sidewalk and they were both gone within an hour? Just gone.
Yeah. I feel like people should put a sign on it.
We put a big sign that said free.
And if they don't get taken after a 7 out of time, you should really be responsible enough to either call someone or take them back inside and destroy them.
Yeah. Yes.
Throw each other through the tables. I don't know.
Don't just dump your refuse if nobody picks it up.
Yeah.
So no, he's not a scumbag.
No.
Congratulations, Nick. You're not a scumbag.
At least not for this one particular way.
Yes. Last email is from Chuck in Pittsburgh.
Old Pittsburgh Chuck.
After listening to last week's show, I have a hot dog pizza story to share.
I'm listening.
Love my job.
A few years back, while on vacation in the Dominican Republic, we drunkenly stumbled into our resort's 24-hour sports bar. Being that it was all inclusive, we ordered 4 pizzas, 2 cheese, 2 pepperoni. When they arrived, the pepperoni looked a little odd. We chalked it up to being a different version of pepperoni exclusive to the Dominican Republic. Upon further inspection, it was in fact just hot dogs cut up on the pizza. When we asked the server what happened to the pepperoni, he simply replied, sometimes pepperoni, sometimes hot dog.
Okay.
Let me tell you, hot dog pizza is fucking disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not how I was hoping that story would end. Because I'm sitting here going like,
Okay.
They're drunk too, so
I know.
like, in
Man,
my mind, I'm like, they're
yeah.
gonna love it.
I mean, if you're that asshole that goes in at like, he didn't say what time it was, but if you show up at 2 a.m. and ask for 4 pizzas,
I don't know if
it's a 24-hour sports
It is,
bar at an all-inclusive resort.
Yeah.
Like, that's the business they're in.
I know.
sometimes hot dog,
But you-
sometimes pepperoni.
You may have to take what you can
That's
get.
my life motto.
Yeah, I was
now.
gonna say
That's
that's like we need T-shirts with that printed on it.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Um,
I would try it.
I would definitely try it.
I would give it a
Yeah.
shot.
I mean, I've had like sliced sausage on pizza
Yeah.
before, and it's been good.
Yeah.
But
I mean, when I think about what a hot dog tastes like, I don't know if it's totally compatible with what a pizza tastes like, but
I mean, hamburger pizza's good. Cheeseburger pizza's good.
I don't know. Something about hot dog and tomato sauce doesn't seem.
I put ketchup on a hot dog.
Shouldn't. But
Yeah.
Put cheese
I'm
on a
with
hot
you.
dog.
Yeah.
I don't know about that either.
What?
I don't know.
Chili cheese dog?
nah.
Mustard, onions, chili, and slaw.
Onions.
That's a hot dog.
No.
I don't want 3 of those 4 things.
Okay. You can't have my hot dog, man.
What
I
about
want
putting the hot
3
dog
out
in
of
the
4
crust.
things. Yeah, they've
Yeah?
done that.
They've done that. Okay.
But like it's like little cups with slices rather than just like a long
Isn't that,
hot dog.
isn't that
going
basically
around.
just a pig and a blanket on the end of your pizza?
Yeah.
It's
pretty
okay.
much, yeah.
All right, sure. I'd get behind that.
But yeah, if they could like perfect, I would like to see the like just ring of hot dog embedded, just one long circular hot dog inside a crust, like they do those types of stuffed crusts.
Have I talked about my keto pizzas yet?
What?
No.
Okay.
Is it pizza without a crust?
So
okay.
back when I was staunchly on the keto diet, which is a low carb diet,
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of targeted ads for keto food because I was searching for a lot of like
right,
recipes and
yeah.
stuff. And I found something called, I'm not going to actually say the name because I'm going to
Okay.
blow them up pretty hard. But it's individual frozen pizzas. They're about 4-5 inches across, and they just said is miracle style. And it's on me. I could have read the ingredients of what that meant, but they're like, it's simply just chicken, Parmesan, and egg. You like whisk them all together and make a crust. And I've actually made chicken crust pizza before. You make like a fried chicken crust and then load it up with pizza toppings.
God.
Because that's like baked, not fried, because you don't want to bread it because it's not keto. But I ordered 80 of these pizzas.
Sight unseen. You were.
Because they had a really
that's
good
the
deal.
case. Okay. Yeah.
They had a
yeah.
really good deal.
Yeah.
I used a promo code and everything. And sure enough, they get to my house, and the way they make the crust is it's a long string that's like wrapped around like a spiral.
Was it like
a miracle.
extruded out of a grinder or
and it
something?
just comes apart instantly.
Oh.
And it's like eating like elementary school chicken nuggets with pizza toppings on top, and it's the worst.
Sold.
It
Wait,
tastes,
I'm back in.
it kind of
How many of these do you still have?
I've got a whole box if you want them, man.
Just bring some in.
Yeah, you can do real fucked up stuff with pizza is the moral of that story, and I still have most of those 80 pizzas
Where do you store 80 pizzas?
in the freezer.
That's wow.
It's most of my freezer.
That's a large freezer.
Brad, we recently moved, and
Okay.
I didn't take anything much with us.
okay.
So a lot of freezer room.
You're subsisting on nothing but pizza, chicken pizza.
Ugh.
Ugh. Well, on that note, who wants to eat lunch?
I would try this.
Yeah, I'll bring some in.
Yeah.
I would give that a shot.
You had me at elementary school chicken nuggets
The
because
trick-
that's my brand.
The trick is to fry it in the frying pan for a
Yeah.
second to get the bottom a little bit crispy. It's
Oh,
like
just
this,
to get
this
it
whole
stick
sous
together.
vide thing.
Right.
Um,
Well, and you microwave them?
yeah.
What if you just
Or you can
microwave
oven
them
make 'em.
and then eat them with a knife and fork and just try to?
Right.
That's the other way
Yeah.
I've been trying to.
Now,
should try
now I'm
this.
hungry. We should go get some food. What do you say?
Yeah.
But I'm worried that when we leave this room, this like death smell
God,
that's
I'm
out
afraid to
there
go out.
is gonna
Oh shit! What do we do?
ruin any sense
You
of.
guys- you
I'll
wanna
go first, and
do
if
a
I'm
live-
not back in
you wanna,
10 minutes.
You want to do a live check for us real fast
hold on.
before we
Okay.
sign off here? Just let the folks at home
I was going to say
know what
we
we're
just
getting into.
transition into you taking questions from the live audience or something.
Oh, no.
For the next 6 hours.
What do you got? Oh, no,
He left.
He just walked
okay.
out.
He walked all the way out.
You think that's a good sign?
I think he just died out there.
All right. Well,
I don't know if he's coming back.
we can always open up interviews and get someone new in here.
Yeah, that's true.
We just did it. It's like we're in practice.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I gotta let him in.
door.
Okay.
Hopefully it's him. Paramedics.
It's stinky.
Uh-oh.
Smell bad?
We have word.
It's stinky.
Oh, boy.
All right.
He's ready to get stinky.
And like dead rat in the vent stinky? Is that
I didn't go far enough in, but
Okay.
I hit the wall.
you hit the smell wall?
And I
Okay.
said, I don't want to go any further.
Okay, great. All right. This is
I
going to be
think you brought it
exciting.
with you.
Oh, boy.
Shit.
Okay, well, it's time to hold our noses and get out of here. Thanks for listening. This has been the Giant Bombcast. We'll see you next week.